Hey guys, we're back again with another live. We're here giving you guys a conversation just around relationships, current TV, reality news, whatever you want to talk about, we're here to talk about. So we're going to keep it free flowing. We're just going to have an open panel. Anybody can join. But we're currently talking about the Caleb situation from Love Island, USA. And just talking about relationships, colorism, talking about obviously black love, everything across the board. So if you want to join the conversation, you want to introduce a topic, you want to talk about something on your mind at the moment, let's get it going, let's get it flowing. Jump aboard, give me give me an email and I will drop the link to you, and get you on board and have you conversating, because you know what, we want to be able to have an open-ended conversation sometimes and just talk about some real stuff. So we just literally finished the last live. We were talking about Married at First Sight, and then we switched on to this particular topic, which was to do with Caleb from Love Island. Apparently, there was a situation where he had a girlfriend, Justine, which I remember seeing. I remember seeing this, Justine from Love Island. And unfortunately, at the moment, he has ditched Justine for another girl. Guys, let me tell you something. In fact, I can show you. Listen, I'm on Twitter right now, guys. I'm on Twitter right now, and it's a bit mad, you know. I'm not gonna lie to you. Can I even show you what I'm looking at? Can I give you a tab? Let me see if I can do this. If I can share my screen with you guys and give you guys what I'm looking at. Let me see. Share screen. Let me see your application window. Let's see. Chrome tab, Twitter. So let me show you. I'm going to show you guys my Twitter and kind of give you this a little bit. Let's have a look so you can have a look. I'm on Twitter right now, so you guys can see. Yeah, there we go. So let's do this a little bit so you guys can see what I'm on. So I'm reading it because I'm new to this, so I didn't really know about this happening. But let me scroll for you guys so you can have a look. So there was, I saw a picture here. I saw one with his family, the Caleb situation. Oh, where's it gone? There was one with his family. I think he had one. Let me put it on videos or pictures, I say. But I think obviously with the situation, what's happened is obviously a lot of people, especially when it comes to black couples, we are very much, there we go. We're very much invested into couples. Someone's put here, Justine let Caleb meet her entire family. Caleb didn't let Justine meet his family. Sorry about that. But his new girlfriend has already met his family. Woo! Hell is hot. And someone put here, by the way, the girlfriend is not new. He has been with her for a while, possibly since before Love Island. Justine didn't know about her and only found out yesterday. Whew. Someone said, want to clarify. She isn't new. They were together throughout the show. For how long, I'm not sure. He used Justine for the 50K and brand deals that came with the fame. His whole family was in on it too. Hell is hot. Oh my days. Oh my day. When you read it, it saddens you. It really does. When you read it, it saddens you. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. So sad. So this was on Twitter. So unfortunately, we're seeing that particular situation. Sorry about that. I took myself off. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's painful, man. That's painful. I mean, if we're talking about relationships and talking about the fact that people on the show, I know it's a game show. I know that obviously, I know that people obviously want to come on these shows to pick up their platform and build, a space where they can really, be seen by the world. But yo, you gotta be cruel. I mean, let me not be cruel. You gotta be hard hearted, yeah. And you gotta be hard hearted to do this. Come on a show, have a whole girlfriend on. Like, first of all, it speaks a lot to the actual girlfriend, and let's keep it real. First of all, it speaks a lot to the actual girlfriend herself, because if you had allegedly, if you had a girlfriend whilst on the show, and you came on and did that, that girl has to question herself. I mean, how much that means? Listen, there's no need to ride. Listen, I will say, guys, if you ride and die, you will die. By all means, if you ride and die, you will die. This is ride or die. When you allow your man to go onto a show to win 50 bags and pretend to like another girl, you are ride or die, and you will die. You know, and so you know, I guess, you know what, in this life, many people have done a lot of this. Is why the Bible says you cannot serve mammon and serve God, because there are things that people do to show that they literally serve mammon. You understand? And that fame and money drives them. And as Stephania put as well, as I said earlier on, you know, that camera or no camera, you know, camera or no camera, character is character. You'll do the same thing, absolutely, you know, because behind this, you see, when people go onto the screen, all they are canvassing and showing to us is what they do. You know, that's all they're showing to us. And so naturally, you know, when you get onto the camera, you're only going to showcase to us what you are doing. You know what I mean? You're only going to showcase to us what you've been trained to do. So if you're a cruel person, it will come out. If you're narcissistic, it will come out. If you're rude, it will come out. If you're a good listener, it will come out. If you're a kind person, it will come out. Some way or some form, the natural you will come. But for someone to go onto a show, knowing at the time you've got a girlfriend, and this girlfriend is potentially, and again, allegedly, and you can come and do this, you know, bro, like, this is it's a level of madness, you know. I think I even want to read the okay, so I think okay, guys, let me just bring you, because, you know, I like to read. I'm gonna show you guys so you can read it as well. So I want you guys to read with me. Do you get what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys can see this. Is it big enough for you guys to see? I don't know if it's big enough for you guys to see. Let me see. Let me see if it's big enough. Yeah, okay, so that's good. So let me just make it larger so you guys can see it as well. Okay. So I'm gonna read it. This is a statement that he put out. It's a statement that he put out, yeah? He's put this statement out. So I'm only gonna read what he has put out. Okay? So I'm gonna read what he's put out so we can have a conversation around this. Because, you know, at the end of the day, this has what he said. He said as many of you may already know, Justine and I are no longer together. I wish her the absolute best and much continued success as God blesses her with new opportunities and adventures. This announcement has been one that we have wrestled with for some time now. Not knowing exactly when or how to deliver it, the nature in which we met and fell for each other comes with a unique set of obstacles that nothing in life can ever prepare you for. We genuinely appreciate those of you who have supported us, and thank you in advance to those of you who will continue to support us as individuals moving forward. Now, first of all, let me just say this. You already know, you already know that this is professionally spun. Yeah, he hasn't written this. It's professionally spun. All right, cool. It says, it is an unexplainable feeling to give yourself to the world, and the world asks for more of you in return. With that last sentence in mind, I hope those of you who have supported us will choose compassion over condemnation during this difficult time. Myself, Justine, our loved ones, etc., are all real people with real emotions who love and hurt hard. Unfortunately, when you choose privacy, others often feel it is a place to tell your story for you. Speculation or not, even with that in mind, I'm still choosing privacy for the sake of my own personal peace. I kindly ask that you please respect any of Justine's or our loved one's desire for privacy as well. Okay, cool. The next part of his thing. They said hell is hot out here, bro. They said hell is hot out here. He said, what a strange feeling it is to wake up to death threats. It is simply impossible to fully capture the complexity of one's identity or character through a screen. Not through a couple feed posts each week or stories on your phone screen, not even through an hour, a day, 5 days, a week, a month on your TV. Now, first of all, this is definitely not PR, because there should be some commas up in there, blood. There should be some commas in the grammar there. I'm just going to be real with you. No, I'm not the best at the English. Let me not lie to you. I'm not the best to English. You know what I mean? You know, but let me just say, obviously, that little part of the screen, yeah, there's that part of it needs commas. I'm just saying it needs commas. Am I lying? If I'm lying, I'm lying, innit? You get me? But it needs some commas, yeah? Okay, so it's, you know what I mean? So some of you will be disappointed to see that I am indeed the same private and cerebral man you have taken some time to get to know. Not a man seeking to prove others wrong, but a man with understanding that my time on earth is limited and my body is merely a vessel for my soul. Oh, sir, you are gonna have to stop this. You're gonna have to. No, 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 no. See, this is it. Look. Before I let you continue, no. Let me. The street. Before I let it continue, let me say something. What is going? Listen, my man, my man is dropping bars out here, blood. Man says, "Sir, listen, let me read that. Let me read. Is he right? Listen, I'm not trying to bars him, but are you writing something to make us understand, or are you writing the novel? Because this is novelistic. I'm just being real. I'm not even beefing, man. I'm not beefing, man. I just want to say this, like the words that are chosen here. It's almost as if man's gone onto Word onto Microsoft Word, and then gone, how do I change synonyms on the word and then make sure it sounds lit? Because I don't understand. First of all, let me even type what cerebral even means, because I know the word, but let me tell cerebral. Let me just see what that means. Cerebral. What does that mean? Cerebral. Then that's the dictionary. Okay, cerebral means relating to the brain or the intellect, appealing to intellectual appreciation. Okay, so man's saying, let me start reading again in it for you guys. Get me? Man is saying, so some of you will be disappointed to see that I am indeed the same private and intelligent man that some of you got to know. Okay, not a man seeking to prove others wrong, but a man with understanding that my time on earth is limited and my body is merely a vessel for my soul. Sirs, I choose to spend my time on pursuing the things that I find fulfillment in, like gaining a greater understanding of the world around me, while also remembering the fact that I know nothing about the world. What? Wait. Hold on a minute. Let me read that again. I choose to spend my time on pursuing the things that I find fulfillment in, like gaining a greater understanding of the world around me, while also remembering the fact that I know nothing about the world around me. This is deep. Guys, this is deep. This is deep. Is it not deep? No. This is deep. This is deep, isn't it? This is deep, guys, isn't it? This is deep. This is deep. This is deep. He's deep. All right, let me continue. There have been several accusations against my character. They love, when they're coming for you, this is what they love, they love this line. The people are gonna, my reputable character. All right, let's go. There have been several accusations against my character since the moment I entered the public eye. I have repeatedly and will continue to choose to not combat or speak out against the hate. Of course, generally speaking, I will avoid overexposure to negativity, but I also understand that naturally I will come across it. To hate I encounter, I will process, reflect, and think to myself, what can I learn from this? Like I try to do with all things in all things, like I try to do with all things I experience in life. Now, I don't know about you guys, but damn, sir, I mean, it does sound like you. I mean, there's more, and there's more, and there's more. At the moment, I'm just saying, like, yo, I'm just being real, like, brother, like, the ones where blood, when, who are talking deep, yeah, and they're going a bit deep, and it's like, bro, but I don't know why you're going this deep, because, bro, just answer there's obviously accusations that are coming your way. Answer you see, when people do the politician, I already know you're guilty. Yeah, this is the same thing we saw with Jay. We saw the thing with other characters. When people start doing wordplay, start playing Scrabble, they start doing wordsmith, trying to do, all this kind of, entanglement with words. You have to already know, if you can't give me a straight answer, okay? If you can't give me a straight answer, I already think you're guilty. You know what I mean? If it's wrong, just tell me it's wrong. But all this, sir, you're doing a bit much, innit? All right, let me read it. I understand many of you feel deserving of an apology or an explanation. I think to go with saying that I am I think to go with saying what I am about to say next would not be a good reflection of how I truly feel. I'm painfully sorry to those in my life who have been attacked or judged based solely on the fact that they are associated with me. I'm sorry to the people who have supported me and no longer feel as if I'm worthy of their admiration. To be clear though, I am not sorry to those who feel entitled to me because I feel like I have already given you a lot. I shouldn't laugh, you know. No, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. Guys, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. But that is funny. No, the way he put that, let's be honest, it is funny. Just the way that he kind of put it is funny. I mean, because, bro, you said obviously those who feel entitled to you, and you've given them a lot. Sir, what actually have you given us? You know what I mean? Like when you go on TV, you act as if you give something to people. I haven't. Listen, even me doing this, I haven't given anything to you. It's a mutual benefit. Whilst I'm doing this, you're up. You're up at night. I'm up at night. You know, I want to talk and have conversation. You're up wanting to talk and have conversation. What have I really given you? No, no, no. What have I really given you? Let's be honest. Do you understand? I've provided a service which you've duly obliged because you've stayed up, you've had a conversation with me. See, sometimes fame does this to people, you know. Sometimes fame will do this to you, you know. Honestly, like big English for nothing, you know. Like big English for nothing, you know. And he's making it as if like he's given us so much, so therefore we should be okay, sir. We're not even asking you to stay past your bedtime. All we're asking for is a simple answer. Well, did you do it or not? What did you do to Justine, blood? You understand? Because obviously my girl's feeling a little bit tasty, blood. You understand? So obviously you've done something. That's all, you know. And if you can admit that, fine. If it's wrong, also tell us it's wrong. Like it's a very simple equation. It's not difficult. Do you know what I mean? But you're here being a politician towards a scenario, and I'm confused. I'm confused as to why we've got a 2-page starter here with big English, and as if you're trying to spin us a yarn. You know what I mean? Bro, like keep it simple. Guys, this is what happened. Yeah, me and an old girl, you know, we got back together again. It's long, I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably shouldn't have done it. Da, 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 da. Then everybody goes home fine. Everybody says, oh, okay, do you know what? We haven't done anything else because my man's already admitted it. Do you know what I mean? But when you just pretend as if, obviously, nothing, no water's come off your back, and you give me the Boris Johnson treatment or the Donald Trump treatment where you're going around in circles, of course I'm going to be a little bit like confused by that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be confused as to say, bro, why can't you just be straight about it? You know what I'm saying? We've got full on essays, you know. Let's read on. Let me read on. I'm sorry to the people who have supported me and no longer feel as if I'm worthy of the admiration. To be clear though, I'm not sorry to those who feel entitled to me because I feel like I've already given you a lot. I let you into my relationship. Hey. Come and see madness. I've let you into my relationship. Are you all right? Are you all right? Oh, you're right. You let us into your relationship, bro. Are you forgetting that you were born on a show where you're about relationships? No. Just remember that. Yeah? You got a lot out of it. You were getting your money. You were getting your modeling clips. You were getting your magazine strips. Do not make it a sif. Yeah? They are not on the same page as he's implied. Okay, I'll find her statement then. I'll find out Justine's statement as well. This is madness, blood. Man said, obviously, look, I've let you into my relationship, you know, as if, blood, like you weren't on TV. All right, cool. I showed you glimpses of lifelong friendships I cherish. I even shared my beautiful family. I shared with you my passions and now even some of my pains. If I give my everything to the people I do not personally know, what will I have left to give to the people who already rely on me to be there for them on a daily basis? Blood, what is this? Oi, no. What is this? Look, listen, let me read it again. This is so beautifully crafted, like it's a book. So let me just read it again. Let me just read it again. I want to read it a bit more dramatic pause. I let you into my relationship. I showed you glimpses of my lifelong friendships I cherish. And I even shared my beautiful family. I shared with you my passions and now even some of my pains. And if I give my everything to people I do not personally know, what will I have left to give to the people who already rely on me to be there for them on a daily basis? What about my future children? Nothing. A shell of what I once was. No, there is no way he wrote this. There's no way he wrote this. Oh my God. No. There is no way he wrote this. You cannot come and tell me he wrote this. No, you cannot tell me he wrote this. No, you're being serious. Oh, man. Listen, guys, some guys are trash. No, some guys are actually trash. Some guys are trash. Imagine getting one of these texts from, man said, think about my children. No. Let me do it again. Listen, I'm gonna try and be serious, guys. I need to do this properly, guys. I need to do this. Oh my days. I don't think. Listen. Let me do this, guys. Let me do this, okay? Let me do this, guys. But we need to take this seriously, guys. I need you to roll with me, okay? 'Cause I'm gonna read it. It's a dramatic reading, okay? It's a dramatic reading. So we need to read this appropriately, okay? So let me read this appropriately, guys. So I'm gonna take it back from that place again. This is Caleb giving us his reason as to what's happened between him and Justine. And go. I let you into my relationship, and I showed you glimpses of my lifelong friendships that I cherish. I even shared my beautiful family. I shared with you my passions, and now even some of my pains. And if I give everything to the people that I do not personally know, what will I have left to give to the people who already rely on me to be there for them on a daily basis? I mean, what about my future children? Nothing. A shell of what I once was. Perhaps now you will be able to better comprehend my desire for privacy on personal matters, as well as my vehement distaste for calls to comment on false narratives. And though I am even killed and mild-mannered, I am not emotionless. I am a man of great passion with an urge to love, protect, and provide for those around me. Some of you already know that. And to anyone concerned about my well-being, I'm okay. And I find comfort in knowing things will only get better moving forward. I promise. Caleb. No. Yo, this is an amazing piece of work he's written. Look, you guys know I don't like taking the mick out of things too often. Yeah, I don't. But this is taking the biscuit. You are telling me you wrote this as a way to make us feel like we should be feeling like, I'm not feeling sorry after reading this. I'm thinking to myself, why did you sit down with the papyrus paper to write down in a feather, pen to write this out? You know what I mean? Like, who is doing your PR spins? Who is responsible for this piece of masterwork? Who is responsible? We need to know who his PR is, because they are not doing a good job. They are not. This sounds like your sister went on to Word to craft this for you, sir. You know? As Ayo said, he hasn't answered the question. You're absolutely right. He has not answered the question. What is going on? Let me. I think there's one more after that. Is there one more after that? No, that's the end of it. He's only sorry he got caught. His family got dragged for being part of it. Justine deserves so much better. Let me see if there's any more. I want to see if Justine put out. Okay. Justine's put out something as well. She said, let me just make this bigger so you guys can read it. So Justine also put out her message, and she said, it's truly a strange feeling to be typing this out, but I understand my reality is now having to share some aspects of my life with you all, regardless of how private I like to remain at times. This is very extremely difficult for me to express, but out of respect for those of you who have supported me and rode for me, I want you to know that Caleb and I are no longer together. I do ask for some time as I continue to go through the process of heartbreak and healing, as this has all been very hard for me. I cannot thank you all enough for the love and support to this point. I hope that it may continue as we move forward as individuals. Okay. I wonder if she wrote anything else, because why? Is that the same one? This boy needs an Oscar. I'm just gonna be real with you. I think he needs an Oscar, because you can't. The way he wrote that was just like there was a lot going on in that whole thing. I just don't understand. I'm trying to find if there's anything else. If like Justine wrote anything else in regards to the situation. It's just a lot, man. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you know? You know. Let me. I'm just going to see what Rue said. Rue said, "Let me be a little Denise." Yeah, and say he's a bit malignant. He's doing a lot right now, bruv. That's what I'm gonna say. He's doing a lot right now. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, I would love to hear your opinions, your thoughts. We don't have to see your face. You just need to, come in and give us your thoughts. Rue, let me add Rue. Rue will probably say something as well. Rue, give us your thoughts on what we've just kind of dealt with there. Go for it. You need to go for it.
Okay. For me, I did follow. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I did not follow the relationship closely, but I was one of the reviewers that I watch. Followed the relationship quite closely, and they actually have a personal relationship, I think, with Justine's mom. So yeah, so they did reach out to Justine for a comment before they made a video to review, and she did confirm the breakup. So the way I understand the sequence of events, Justine posted the breakup thing. Caleb did not know that she was going to do this, but she had seen the TikTok. She posted the breakup thing, and then after that, I think Caleb was sleeping with something, and then probably people woke him up because he was getting dragged for filth in the comments. I don't know if you read the comments on the Instagram post, but
it's crazy.
Yeah, people were people were saying the maddest of things. So, in my opinion, I think that I did not think that they were going to last as a couple, but I think the way that it ended did not have to be, if that makes sense. I think everyone kind of had an inkling that he wasn't perhaps as into her as as we like to do. And like what you said, like people have this thing, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, which he leaned into. I don't know if you think this is a speech, you should watch his speech on the Black Lives Matter movement. Like when he won the $50,000, he made this whole speech. He's like, it's very nice to see that a black couple can win. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, he made a speech too. So I don't know. I think his character is just in question, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't want to say more about it because I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what they did.
You know what is mad, yeah? I think what's really mad is the fact that, I think what's really mad is the fact that these situations, like I said, what we're seeing right in front of us happens day to day, every single day. Like, especially when it comes to men and to women, you see a lot of times, man. The issue here is this: he was never really into her, but there was a motivation to stay with her: money, fame, platform, sponsorship deals. His life was going to change. Do you understand? His life was going to change by being with this woman. Okay, and the difference between and that's pretty much the only real difference between a normal relationship and what we're seeing on TV. That his life changes through an association with this woman and they winning the show together. He is very much aware. He's very much aware of the fact that Black Lives Matter would have been a prominent issue, and and the fact that obviously he would be, hoisted to that platform in the sense of like, oh, black, black love, da 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 da. So he knew that aspect of things. The thing is, and someone's put it here, and I think we'll talk about this as well. Parents, I mean, not even parents, people have a responsibility to act accordingly, right? If you didn't like her, right? And you know, I'm gonna say something mad, but I remember this on Huntsville, was it Love and Huntsville? And it was one of the wives. She said, "If you go and cheat, cheat respectfully." And I remember when she said that, I said, "This," I said, "This is mad." But what she was actually alluding to was that there is an aspect of the cheating that you do which becomes very disrespectful. Right? Cheating
Yeah.
itself is disrespectful. Don't get it twisted. Cheating itself is disrespectful. But when you drag someone publicly with that, then it becomes ultra disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? So now we've got a situation where it looks like, and allegedly, that you have played with Justine, and not only that, Justine doesn't represent just Justine. This is not a white girl. Unfortunately, if anybody's white here watching this, Justine is not a white girl. Okay, Justine represents every black woman in America and potentially across the pond. Okay, so now what happens is when you do that to Justine, you've not just done it to Justine, you've done it to every black woman in the country and beyond who watches the show, right? And because obviously the history, when we look at relationships in terms of the way relationships have gone for black women, especially, and the fact that we even on TV we don't get represented as much, right? You have to understand that when he's done this disrespectful movement, allegedly again, the fact that obviously he's done this, allegedly, and dragged her through the mud like this, it looks even worse. Am I saying this right? No, I'm not. Am I saying that someone he's a worse kind of guy? No, but what I'm saying is you're being exposed on TV, but there are other people like this, and I'm saying to you that when you drag someone in the public, it's completely different when you drag them privately, because you add an extra shame. You know what I mean? There's an extra shame. He said he done it to all of us. You cheated on our family, boy. Do you know what I mean? So again, because I can see some people there that, like, I know they're a little bit, they want to defend him. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to cuss him. What I'm saying is that listen, if you didn't like the girl, there is a way to have like, why should she find out, allegedly again? Why should she find out through internet that you're moving mad? Do you get it? You don't like her. All you have to do, sir, is to message her behind the scenes and say, Justine, it's not going to work out, and if you want to fool us even more, let's have a public breakup. It's fine. Do you get it? But when you do it in public, yeah, then all that's going to happen is that the person is twice shamed again, allegedly, because we haven't got all the details as of yet. But again, here's my thing: if there's an allegation made against you, you don't do a 5-pager writing what you write and not address the actual accusation. That's a politician. I always say it: when people become politicians, I already know you're lying, because you just need to answer the question.
Yeah. Have you looked at Johnny's Instagram? So Johnny is like one of Caleb's friends. So he was the one who was dating Sally. Yeah.
That was Johnny. Yeah, I remember Johnny. Yeah.
Okay. So Johnny, like when Caleb made his announcement, he went onto his Instagram and said that he was going to do a live exposing the whole thing. So like the thing with Johnny and Justine is Johnny didn't like Justine because Justine and Sally were friends. So when Johnny was moving, like, I don't know, like he was single in Casa Amor, Justine was like, Sally, you deserve better, break up with him. And Johnny didn't like that Justine told Sally to break up with him. So I remember he made a live where he was saying things about Justine. Now the problem is Johnny and Caleb are friends and allegedly close. So when Johnny went, like as soon as this like whole announcement came out, Johnny went onto his Instagram and he was being messy as all hell. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do a live exposing this whole thing." He didn't really say anything. I checked it like before I came into the video, like just to see what it was that he said. But he was literally just, yeah, he spent I think 3/4 of it teasing that he was going to drop some juicy information, and then afterwards I think he washed his feet or something, I don't know, ridiculous. But he's being messy as all hell, and I think he's just like, I don't know, what is it about. Okay, let me ask this: do most guys have a physical preference?
I think most guys do, man. Yeah, I
Okay,
think most
because
guys
like
do.
when Caleb walked into the house, the two people he asked out on a date were I don't know if her name is Rebecca. I don't know why I want to call her Rebecca. Were Rebecca, who is also a dark-skinned woman, and then he went and he asked I've forgotten her name, but she was the one who was dating not the other one, Callum. I don't know, but she was a brunette, curvy and whatever, and then the other one was like skinny and black and dark skin and really beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely amazing. And those are the two girls he asked out on a date. Completely different. I don't like, so that's why I ask, do men usually have a physical preference? Because sometimes people want to just say, I like everybody, but I don't know.
So here's my thing. Men do have I think most men and most women do have a type, right? And that type is guided by the information you've received. Because attraction, the word attraction comes from the word, or when we break an English word, means to evoke. Now, to evoke, it means that something is already in you. In order to evoke something, it has to be already in you. It has to be already supplanted in you already. All right, which means it's already in a subconscious mind, which means you've already been trained to think the way you're thinking. You're trained by the environment, but you're first trained by your parents, right? So what you see in your parents, and then what you see in your immediate environment, that's your schooling, that is your friend circle, that is your ends that you are, your hood or whatever location you're at, and then obviously when you go to university, all of these begin to shape our attraction levels. Okay, now information is needed to shape what your type is, right? But the type is often guided by, first of all, yes, the physique of that person, but also as well the ease. What type of women often make it easy for you to draw them? Because then then that also become part of your type, right? So here in this situation, and the difficulty about this is this: when he went into the show, he already had some knowing of who the women were on the show. Okay, he already had some knowing of what women were on the show, who was popular, who's not popular. Already could see the dynamics of the show. So we will never really know whether when his pick was a true authentic pick or whether it was guided by knowing how the show was going to run, because he came in, I think he came in later on, isn't it? He didn't come in straight away. So we will never really 100% know on that particular aspect. But definitely men and women have a type. You know what I mean? Both, definitely men and women have a type. And here's the thing as well: when you're dealing with if I was to do this, if I didn't, let me be frank with you, if I didn't date dark skinned women, let's say I don't date dark skinned women, let's just say for the situation, and I go into Love Island, do you think, if I'm a smart person, by the way, and remember, he's already said he's a cerebral, okay? He said he's a cerebral man, you know what I mean? So he's a smart person, so what I would say is this: if you're a cerebral smart person, you're gonna think your moves through. Yeah. So if you are gonna choose, you wouldn't just choose anybody. You'd think, how do I play this to my actual advantage? You know what I mean? So it could be calculating. We can't say 100%. Do you know what I mean? Can't say 100%. Do you know what I'm saying? All I can say is that men definitely have a type. Men definitely have a type. So if his type is light skinned, beautiful girl, nothing wrong with that. If it's light skinned IG model kind of look, nothing wrong with that at all. You know what I'm saying? Go for it.
I was going to say, well, I was going to suggest, like, whilst when I say what I say next, that you should look at his Instagram profile and who he follows. Because I was looking at the girls I was like, he's following lingerie. he has 950 people he's following. That's a lot, sizable for us regular people, but like, yeah. So
Considering
when
his
you see that the
size, yeah.
majority of them are a certain type, it then begins to paint a picture in my mind. I would like to correct myself and say, yeah, no, it's true. Justine didn't actually tell Sally to break up with Johnny. She
Oh, okay.
actually said that. I remember they had a conversation, and she literally said when Sally was asking for advice, because I think there was a challenge where the public made a comment about how Johnny was making out with some girl in Casamore, and then Sally was crying, and then Justine just said no. Just take the advice that you would take. So I wanted to correct myself. She
That's
didn't
cool.
actually say that. But in regards to the Caleb and Justine situation, I don't. Okay, when it comes to Justine and Caleb's relationship, I don't think that it would have worked anyway because they were pretty far apart for a while. She moved to LA recently, so I don't think it was going to work either way. I think that to an extent, he did play the game because even reading his 2-page thesis or whatever it was, he's very calculated with what he says, and he tries to make sure that every single sentence has a certain impact, and he's trying to control the way that people perceive him, kind of like from Ready to Love, the pastor lady, the one who was in Jay's room.
Winter.
Yeah, Winter, kind of like Winter. He tries to control how people perceive him. And it's one of those things that I saw a lot in Love Island. And that might just be a character flaw he has. I don't think he's a terrible human being. And I don't think that I do think that he was very calculated with who he chose to be in a relationship with. And I think that shows in the two people, in the vast differences between the two people he brought into the date. Because like he got to choose. He knew who was in the house, and he got to choose whoever he wanted. And one, I think, was his actual preference, and then the other was a game move. And the way Rachel was her name. The way he moved from Rachel to Justine, I think was natural. I think he did naturally vibe better with Justine. I think he did have a bond with Justine. I don't think it was a situation where there was like nothing at all. But I think that if he was honest with himself, no matter how much they tried, it was never going to work because, like you said, men do have a physical preference. So even if you meet someone who's this amazing human being inside and out, if you have this physical preference or just a preference, and if that is a mental block for you, the relationship is never going to work. My problem is if he cheated on her, which, yeah. If he cheated on her, that's my problem with him. And the way that he's reacted afterwards. Like you said, he didn't have to write 2 pages telling us nothing. Like, I would prefer he said nothing at all because he didn't. He knows what the accusations are.
Yeah.
He knows what we're saying. We are saying, sir, you cheated on this woman. He did not say, I did not have sexual relations with this woman. He did not say that. He didn't even do that. He just said, I don't know what he said. Like I could not summarize that entire thing. If you asked, like, if you paid me $1 million, I could not summarize it. Why is it that, like, when, I don't know. Let me think about my question more clearly as I read the comments.
I mean, obviously, again, these things, you know, are you know, the TV. Here's the thing: the line between reality and acting is very thin, and I know many people say it's TV, and I keep saying to people, look, and if you've done acting before, you know how thin the line is. If you've done acting before, I've done acting before, I've done theatre, and I'll tell you this now: the line between acting and reality is too thin. When I did acting, and I think you guys might have seen a video, I've done a video on this, and I said I had to play a character that fell in love with another girl, right? Whilst I had a girl, and I struggled to do it, right? Everything else, I was cool with doing it, but I could not pretend. And here's why. The same skills you need to act to do theatre is the same skills I needed to do when I was in the past, y'all. Let me when I wanted to know when I wanted to cheat. It's the same skills. You compartmentalize. And when I realized I was about to go into that space, I said I can't do it. I told the director, "Look, I'm struggling here." He was like, "Okay, look, just work with this, and you know what? Maybe not kiss her or anything like that." Because I just couldn't do it. I cannot. You see, when you are acting, and you are pretending, the line between that and reality is so close to the point where you almost forget you're acting, and now it becomes your reality. And if you've ever spoke to somebody who tells you about cheating, they'll tell you about when they get to a space they have to compartmentalize, and eventually what happens is they even forget they're compartmentalizing. It just becomes a habit. And this is why many actors cheat. It's not because they are bad people. It's because the line between I'm acting and what's reality is almost scrubbed clean. There is no almost no line. Do you understand? So when so the so even if you're acting on the show, even if you're acting and pretending, the line is so thin at a point in time. So when people, so let's say for instance, he's acting right to a point. Even him at a point in time will start to think to himself, maybe do I actually really like this girl? Maybe I really do like her. And that adds that extra spice to the relationship, because he's not sure if he's actually being real or he's not being real. And I haven't said he's acting, you know what I mean? But what I am saying is that what I am saying is this: if you are not fully involved, part of you is acting. Let me be very real with you. If part of you is not all the way, if you're not all the way in a relationship, part of you is acting, because you end up trying to cover those cracks when you're not fully feeling a girl or fully feeling a man. Let's be very honest. Part of you starts to act, so you're acting. Let's not pretend. Like I'm seeing some comments. I'm like, you're acting. Like, let's not lie. Like, we're trying to defend him. Like, I don't need to defend him. I'm a man. I know what we do. I know what women do. Listen, when you're not all the way in, you end up acting. So let's say he did like her. Let's say he found her physically attractive, and that's all he could find. Or let's say he found her personality banging, but he always knew, you're not the one I'm going to want to be with. You're acting from that moment onwards. You're acting. When you knew that you were never going to be with that girl, you were acting in some shape or form. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying, I'm not saying that, he's a bad person. Again, I want to stress the fact that if you're not fully convinced, you're gonna do some acting, and then what happens is, for Justine, it was real. It seemingly looked like, for her, it looked like it was real. So now they're in a situation where potentially someone's cheated. It's gonna hurt a lot. We see it every year with different shows, and then they end up cussing each other, right? So we talk about people going on these shows for fame and everything, but then people end up cussing each other. Why are they cussing each other? They're acting. Why do they need to cuss each other? Because they're hurt. Because it really did hurt. Because as much as you're acting, some part of you is true. You can't get away from it. But let me get Maria on. Maria's in the background. Maria, talk to us, man. What are you telling us, sis? Talk to us. Oh, I muted her. I've muted her. Sorry.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you
Go
hear
for
me?
it, sis. Talk to me. Talk to me.
All right. Thanks for having me on. I wanted to just say that I feel like Love Island in general is not a safe space for Black women.
Mm,
And I say that because, I mean, you can see it like in multiple other seasons where the Black woman is always the last
nice choice.
chosen,
Yeah.
or like, just always kind of played to the left a little bit. And even in the season with Justine, she was the last chosen, and the Black guys that, were there, they were choosing other kind of women, and it's just like, I really wish Black women would stop going on that show, because
Mm.
I cringe every single time I watch it. And yeah, I'm addicted to watching it still, but it's just like, for Black women, it's not really safe. And then another aspect of that is Caleb, like, she was never Caleb's first choice. And, she ended up having to pursue Caleb herself. And
Oh, that's problematic.
yeah, I feel like that's a lesson for women as well, is like, men go after what they want. If he hadn't actually pursued you, I think you should like fall back, because then, you're putting yourself in a little bit of a weird situation where, the guy then has to decide, do I want to hurt her feelings, or do I want to, play with her emotions.
Mm.
And yeah, I think it's just a lesson all around. And I wish, Black women would stop going on that show. It's very anti-Black, in my opinion.
I definitely hear what you're saying. Even in the UK version, we saw it, and this is why I said that a guy can be very calculating. We saw this a very similar situation with, what's her name? Your man, yeah. What's her name?
Greg and
Yewande,
Amber, and then Yewande and Danny.
Yewande and Danny. So Danny
Mm-hmm.
came in late. He was mixed race or light skin. I'm not sure because I don't know his parental thing.
Mixed race.
He came in. He mixed race. He came in late. And he also went after Yewande, but he never wanted Yewande. That honestly,
Mm-hmm.
he would never wanted Yewande. This is the truth of the matter. Like, some people don't want to consider people that they are calculating. Let's be very honest. I can tell you the truth. As a male, we are calculating. We spot people. We know people who are vulnerable, and we go after them. When you're in a dickhead
Mm-hmm.
mode, let me be very real. When you are in dickhead mode, this is what you do. When you want money, when you want fame, you'll do whatever you want because you don't consider women to be human. That's the only way this works. You have to almost dehumanize women to do this. That's how we get to this space. You know what I'm saying? And so when Danny came in, he went after you one day, was giving her all the bars and all the vim.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, he really didn't want you one day, right? He didn't want you one day. But he saw that obviously, like, my girl was open. She was the only one that was kind of left, so he had to go for it. Okay, cool. But he strung her along a little bit of the way. But then when he finally got his choice to go after what he wanted, he went after what he wanted. It wasn't
Yeah.
one day. And so, similar enough, like you're saying, these shows, I think only this year in UK version of Love Island, we had Michael. Michael was dating a white girl first, but as soon as a black
Mm-hmm.
woman came in, he wanted to switch. So that's the first time I think we've seen a black man really want a black woman. And on these shows, oftentimes, especially Love Island, they don't pick black men who want black women. And I don't think,
Exactly.
even if they don't even choose white guys who want black women. It's not like even the black guys who are on there choose exotic or white women. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? And so oftentimes you're right. Watching these shows, what we do see is that we don't get a fair shot for black women. But again, I think that also represents what our society sometimes behaves like. That it can be pockets of black men. I don't want to say all because I think that would be a wrong assumption. I think there's a large pocket of black men, but I wouldn't say it's more than black men who love black women. I think they get pushed out more because negative energy always comes out. It always shows more. But there are pockets of black men who, in one shape or another, dismiss black women in terms of dating, and then we see it on either TV, whether it's sports people, whether it's Love Island or whatever. We always see it, and it's a shame we see that. You know what I mean? They don't choose people who are going to be happy to date black, and I think that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
consciously done. But go on, sis. You want to say?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with everything you were saying. Like,
Mm,
it's interesting that all of the black men, because they chose a lot of black men for
mm,
this season of Love Island, but none of them had Justine as their first choice, And
mm,
I don't know, it's weird. And there are a lot of black men. I feel like for black men though, it's almost like a status symbol for them sometimes
mm.
to date out, or they're more curious about it because they feel like it's more exotic or
Yeah.
different or whatever.
Mm,
um but yeah, I mean, it's an issue in society in general, because there was
mm.
like a dating study that was done by, I think it was,
Flow, sis. Mm-hmm.
it was like, what dating app was it? It was one of those dating apps. I think it was like Bumble or one of them,
Mm,
where they showed like the different dating pools and like choices that people make. And like black men were the most likely to date outside of their race.
mm.
And black women were the most likely to date within their
Inside.
race, or to stay
Mm,
loyal. So I feel like that in general just creates like a huge like margin of difference, where that almost puts black men in a higher power position because they're having more options and they're choosing other people. And so that makes them more sought after, I feel like, by Black women. But then we're drastically left to not have people choosing us, you know? So,
Mm, yeah. And do you know, the funny thing is, I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and we were talking about similar subjects. And I said to her that the difficulty about this conversation is that it's how men and women interact with the game called dating, and there's a difference. Women are not cast to pursue, so they actually their choices are slightly different to how people who are allowed to choose, which is men, right?
mhm,
So when for instance, as a black male myself, I date black, right? But I was saying to her, like, the the only reason why I said there was a moment where I wasn't gonna date black, because when I grew up, when I was a kid, I grew up in an all black neighborhood, black parents, together, loving each other. Went to church, everybody black there too. So I was inundated with black. So it's not like I was seeing white until I went to primary school. Went to primary school, all the girls there were white. I think there was one black girl and one light skinned girl as well, right? So in the
mhm.
primary school, it was like, oh, okay, white girls it is then, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what I can see in front of me right now. Like, do you know what I'm saying? The girls in the hood, that was beef. Every time they saw me, it was on site. They wanted to murk me, right? But and it only took the point, and I said after I went to a secondary school and it was all black, yeah, and I fell in love with black women then. I said, nah, and listen, let me be very frank with you. They were rude, they were obnoxious, they were arrogant, these girls, but I loved them. I don't know what it is, being around them, their energy, everything, their vibes. I
Mhm.
wasn't the guy getting the play, but do you know what? I still loved them. I don't know we just connected. Do you know what I mean? I was probably the friend. That's probably why I wasn't good looking enough for them. I was the best friend kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But I loved them, right? We get on, right? And then after I had to leave that school in London and I had to move out to the kind of like rural areas, right, to a white secondary school. This is like year 10, and I hadn't had a girlfriend at that point. But what I saw was white girls were far more open to me than the black women were. And
Mm,
so at that moment, I've never had a girlfriend. So if you deep it, I'm looking for love. I don't care where it comes from now. It could be Indian, it could be yellow, black, blue, it could be an alien. I just want a little love. You understand? So at
mhm,
that point, I would have been open to anything. And had I been open to anything, the way that my mind thinks is that I go wherever I'm celebrated. So if I'm celebrated by white women, I'm not going to now have to stretch myself to black women, because if white women were celebrating me, I'm going there. I want to feel loved. I want to feel cared for. Do you understand?
mhm.
Fortunately for me, the way God is a blessing in disguise, I fell in love with a lovely black woman, and that was it. Sign still delivered. I never dated any of her. I can't go outside of that, right? But when I speak to other black guys and hear some of their accounts, I can see why they go to date outside of black. And it's not because they necessarily want to, it's because they're not celebrated within the black community as much, or they're hurt. Let's be very frank, or they're hurt. And the third category is misogynistic, self hating, the guys you just need to avoid in general. Yeah, them guys there, you have to avoid them in general. But the experiences for black men and black women are different because we make a choice, whereas women are waiting to be chosen. We go out to hunt, whereas you are waiting to be hunted. So I think when we have black women choosing to stay within the black community how they date, I can understand why they would do that more than black men. But I also understand the other side of things, which is that black men, there are some sections of black men that are really, like I said, against black women because of what they've experienced, what they've gone through. But there are also a section of black men, which I do not agree with, that are self hating. And you will know when they're self hating because they give you an excuse, which is weave. Oh my God, I don't like
Mhm.
weave. When they tell, and these weave is black and white, Asian, it's everyone. So I don't understand what the beef is. Weave. Oh, black women are too loud. Your mum's loud. So is your sister, and so is you. Everybody's loud. All right. So when you start seeing statements that do not make sense, I already know you don't come from a sensible place, and you are hurt, and you more than likely don't like yourself. So how would you be able to love someone else? So those people, they are I don't consider them. I don't like them to be involved in that kind of conversation. But there are another two, which is that those who've gone through experience and those who have open access to black, white, they're just good looking and they have access to everybody. But I do understand what you're saying. But I don't counter that for me, like in terms of your experience. I mean, growing up, because I think we don't hear that enough in terms of like the kind of background behind it. But if you can give us a little bit of, background in terms of your experience, in terms of growing up, how was it like? Were the black men rude? Were they nice? How was it like for you?
Hmm. Well, in school, okay, so let me start back. When I went to elementary school, I went to like an all white elementary school, like
Mm.
through kindergarten through like fourth grade. Um, so for me, I was only exposed to white boys at that young age. And so I thought that that was, and back then, I think also I was dealing with some internal like difficulties because I was the only black girl like in my whole school and I didn't understand at the time like why was my hair different? Why did I look different? All of that, you know? So back in those days I had crushes on white guys. And then my parents, they wanted me to be more in with black people or in a more diverse environment. And so
Mm.
that's when I switched schools, and so fifth grade all the way up until high school, um, I was around black people, white people, Mexicans, Indians, like the whole thing. I was in a very diverse environment. When I was in that diverse environment, the black guys did, date black girls. There were
Mm.
also some black guys that dated white girls. Um, and that's when I really was able to develop a more attraction to black men.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have had conversations with black guys who have said similar to what you're saying of like, you know, they weren't received by black women,
Mm.
when they were younger. And so in a situation like that, and one thing that I saw that was kind of common was that, the guys that were saying that were usually the ones that were like good in school, really
Mm-hmm.
good, like a little
Yeah.
bit nerdy,
Yep. Yep.
and when we're younger, um, we as women or black women, we're looking for a certain energy. We want a little bit of that edge, a little bit of that danger, a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
the popularity contest,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So back then we're immature in our thinking, and so we're gonna probably not go for the guy who's a little bit more low key, a little bit more
Yeah.
nerdy, right? But then when we grow up, we
Yeah.
mature in our thinking, and then we realize that, okay, the bad boy, those guys, they're not making no money. They're not, doing nothing with their lives anymore. They now look fat and ugly,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So then we start to like want the actual good black guys who
Guys.
have a
Yeah.
good head on their shoulder and stuff like that. But by then, those black men are so scarred or whatever, or
Mm.
they're so hurt from, high school, elementary school, whatever, that they've punished the whole race. And they're like, I'm only going to date white girls because that's where I'm celebrated or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, that you still gave a chance with a black woman. So
Mm.
if I could just ask you, like, what made you kind of like, still be open to dating a black woman?
I think it's the way I think. But I also think my upbringing was so strong. I had two
Hmm.
great parents, you know, who are strong in their culture. And then I went to church. So church was a big thing for us. So I went to church, and the church was a predominantly black church. Predominantly, it was all black. So that also helped ingrain. And I remember the first girl I ever liked was a black girl. Like I remember looking, I was just like, this girl's so buff. I was excited. I was looking at her like even and I think there is a again there's it's tough to even fully explain it because I remember watching TV and not seeing a black girl on the screen, but seeing, for instance, I love Power Rangers at that time, right? I remember
Hmm.
Kimberly, Pink Ranger or Yellow Ranger, which it was. And I thought she's hot. Damn. okay, blonde hair and that thing there, she's kind of cute. But at that point, I'm not thinking about color. I'm just thinking that's a good looking girl to me. But when I was in my actual natural environments where I spent most of my time, I was around black people.
Mhm.
So when I went to primary school, yeah, the white, and here's, I think this is the saving grace. Early on, the white girls never chose me either. I
Mm.
think that's honestly the saving grace. And this is why I have sympathy for some black, for some, not all of them, for some of them. They never chose me. So actually, there was nobody choosing me. So I couldn't be angry at anybody. Nobody
Mhm.
chooses me. So why am I, who can I be vexed at? And then when I went to secondary school, I think secondary school really set it in because we were this is I went to a school where now from an all white school where it's all about education. I went to a school which was like the second worst in UK. Like it was trash, and but it was just full of black kids from the estates, everything like that. Right. Unfortunately, the school I got, that was the school I got, and so when I went into that school, we I'm African, so there's other African people and Caribbeans, and the way that we just flowed, I said, "Nah, I'm not gonna lie to you." I remember I had this thought as well. I said, "How would you date a white girl when?" Look at the banter we have with black girls. Look at the jokes.
Mhm.
Look at the flow that we have. It's different. Like who makes beats on a bus and sings songs? Who does that? We don't and you know what I mean? Like I never saw that
Mhm.
with white folks. So for me, when I was growing up, I was like, okay, that solidified. And I'm telling you, these girls were rude to me. They cussed me, but somehow, some way, I still looked at them like, no, but you are still buff. And I think that's the key thing. I could differentiate between the two. Just because you don't like me doesn't mean that you're not buff.
Mm.
Just because you're insulting me doesn't mean that you're still buff. I'm sorry, but the girl's buff. Yes, she doesn't like me, but she's buff. So what am I gonna do about it? Nothing. I think you're still amazing. I think you're still cute. And regardless of my experience, I still have to give you your flowers. And then when I went to the all white school again, by then I had already solidified the mindset, and I actively looked out for a black girl. I didn't. All the white girls were there. I think they were amazing, and so there was a thought. How controversial can we go?
Go ahead.
Okay, so obviously when I was in secondary school, because it was an all black school, there used to be a saying that would go around, which is that white girls are easy. So
Mm.
when that saying came around, I was like, well, if that's, and I didn't realize when I got older, this affected me. It affected me because I started looking at white girls as the sexual beings and black girls as the ones we marry. And since I grew up in a Christian home, I'm not here for the sex. I'm here for the
Mm.
marriage. So that again put another barrier between me and white girls. I was like, I can see you. I could probably mess around with you, but I can't marry you because we don't flow in the exact same way, right? So a lot of these things were built through what I'd seen and what I heard and all them kind of things there. So when I finally got to an age where I was 17 and wanted to date proper, the girl that I saw, I said, listen, this black girl, I want her. I want her. I don't want any other girl. I don't want these white girls. No offense to them. I think they're great, but I only want a black girl. Because the other girls can't understand me. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know what we're going through. They don't understand how we banter and we joke. There's a way that black people banter, yeah. That white people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anybody
Mhm.
who's in an interracial relationship. I think you're great. I think you're amazing. But you do not know the level of banter we can bring to the table. It's different. You
Mhm.
understand? It's so different. So for me, I think um, I think for me that was I got to that stage of thinking that's I just needed a black woman, and if and I don't get into short term relationships, I get into long term relationships, so it couldn't be me dating a white girl. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie to you. If I look at my history, I messed around with white girls, but I never dated them, and that's because of what I got told from young, and it festered up until I got a little bit older. So that was my reason as to why I didn't date out. I mean, have you dated interracially? Because obviously you grew up around a few white people. As you said, you were seeing white people when you were younger. But did you date interracially, or have you experienced it? I mean, or why did you choose black men in the sense of sharks?
Mhm. So I've never actually dated interracially.
Okay.
Um, I think for the same reasons that you just named of like the relatability factor. Um, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's important that I can relate to this person, that they can relate to my story, my struggles, stuff like that. Um, so I feel like I don't have that same, you know, connection level like that with a white guy. And I've actually gone on dates with white men. I've never actually dated like committed relationship with them. And when I go out on a date with a white guy, it seems like the conversation always ends up going to
color.
have you ever dated a white guy before? Or like yeah, like it always goes there, and it's like we can't even just be two humans, getting to know each other, and I get it, that is a good question to ask because it is a factor of life, but like I don't know, I think also I'm not really attracted as much. I used to when I was little, but I think that was because of my level of exposure. That's all I was exposed to. But then when I was exposed to black guys, I was like, yeah, give me the chocolate. so so yeah, I think it's a level of attraction and also the need to be able to really connect on a deeper level and relate.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, Maria. We'll continue. It's 2 secs. Rue, you want to add something? Go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on, I think earlier, or maybe it was in the other live, you said something about how on British Black people and American Black people have this level of connection in terms of shared experiences and the way that you think as well. And I think one of the major things that happens, especially when you're a person of color, whether it's Black or whatever it is, when you're a person of color living in a majority white country, that does play an effect because stereotypes, I think, are so much more, they're amplified so much more. And you kind of are in a situation where you can't just be a human being. And then you have situations like where Maria's asked, so have you ever been with a white man before on a date? Whereas you're just like, can we just be two human beings type of thing? And I think part of that is one of the bigger issues of whether it's colonialism, slavery, or whatever it is, racism, that people don't understand that sometimes as a Black person, your identity is stripped from you to the extent that you can't even just be a human being. And I think that's one of the blessings I have in growing up in a majority Black country and going to school in a majority Black country, but also going to I went to a private school. So I was also in a situation where I was exposed to white people, Indian people, Arab people, Chinese people. So I was exposed to all kinds of people. So I had that experience of knowing other cultures, but having the security of I was just me. So I didn't have to be the loud, angry Black girl. I was just me. I was the person who loved books and would get excited about silly little things, and that was just me. I could just be myself. And when I moved to Europe, for university, recently, it's different, obviously, because now you're being identified by your race, and there's certain stereotypes, and it's like, yeah, okay, I watched a lot of Black American movies growing up, and I really love that. And sometimes, when I get super excited, I may affect a Black American accent or British accent because of my family or whatever. But I'm not them. It's always so hard. Like when someone says something, they're like, yeah, but you understand, right? And then they're talking about American politics, and I'm no, I don't. And part of that, I think, plays a role in how some Black men may feel like they can't just be themselves, and how I think that there might be that disconnect. Like if they grow up in a majority white household, or if they grow up, like with Caleb, he grew up in a white household. I think he didn't grow up with his father, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So it will definitely play a role in how he sees the world and how he plays. Because I think sometimes for some people, it might make them want to act, quote unquote, super Black because they grew up in that environment and they want to then claim the other part of their identity. For other people, it might make them just stick to what they know. And either one's good. But yeah. I think I'm just going to bring it back to if he cheated, that is my issue with him. And that 2-page, I think, no, in fact, let's not even talk about the sheet. Let's talk about that 2-page essay. Bring it back to that 2-page essay. What do you think that says about his character? Little Black Book.
I will speak on that in a sec, just because we're on this topic, and I wanna kind of bring it to a proper end as we're talking about, because I think it's a really good topic we're on at the moment. So I'll come to that in a second. I think obviously as we're talking about dating black, I think one of the key things here as well, is we're talking about. I think someone started to put it here. Obviously, the grace to accept rejection. I think Marie, you mentioned it as well. That a lot of and I think this is where the key lies. That a lot of guys, the rejection it also the rejection that they receive sometimes, the next step for them is to how to get back at the people that hurt them, rather than
Mm,
trying to analyze what happened. And I think that's the key thing, and especially with black men, especially the feeling of emasculation in the society that they're in, the things that we go through. And so obviously, as I think Marie said as well, and Rue said as well, it's that sometimes these decisions are rooted in status.
mhm,
And it's to kind of almost prove that they are beyond what they felt the rejection was. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
because there's nothing wrong with the rejection. It happens. We all get rejected. Like, do you know what I mean? Some more than others. We all get rejected. Okay. But it's how you take that rejection in a sense. Are you trying to now get one over of the person? Because I think that's how the mind goes into those spaces where someone goes, "I'm not going to date black," and then makes excuses for why they wouldn't date black. Because let me be very frank with you, all the experiences that I've had with black women when I was younger and where I was hurt by them, don't get it twisted. I still feel some parts. And listen, I remember, I think it was like maybe 4 years ago when I started my YouTube. I was walking in the uni and some black girls walked past me, and I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" And they looked at me and they started laughing, and I was triggered. What the fuck they laughing for? Like, yo, like, why are you just laughing at me? I said, "Hey," and they laughed and walked on, and I was like, "Oh, do you know what?" And then and what I linked it to was, this is how I felt in school, but I didn't link the race thing. I wasn't looking at it as, oh, it's black women. I was just thinking to myself, oh, it's girls again doing the same. Because I was maybe because I got rejected from all sides, so maybe my angle was different. Maybe some guys got rejected solely from black women. I don't know, and maybe that's why they're thinking the way they're thinking. But for me, I was looking at it as a situation as, I did get triggered, but at the end of the day, I can't blame the whole race. My mum is black blood. Like, yo, like,
Mhm.
where am I going with this chat where I don't like black women? But then let me give you some insight. Funny enough, obviously being Ghanaian, okay, I tend not to date Ghanaians, and I say tend. I haven't dated one yet.
Mm,
I normally attract Jamaican, Caribbean. I say Jamaican, but Caribbean women. So I naturally get drawn to Caribbean women. I love my Ghanaian women too, but they don't give me the same vibe in terms of free. They don't seem to come to me the way that Caribbeans do. So I've just gone, okay, cool. I'm more inclined, probably more likely to date a Caribbean person. Do you know what I mean? But am I opposed to it? No, not at all. Not opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? But I see that I end up going towards Caribbean women. You know what I mean? So I can see how something can happen to an easy road comes to you and you can go kind of down it. Do you know what I'm saying? But again,
mhm,
I don't I I struggle with the whole. I struggle not with the choice. I struggle with the men that have to down our women
mhm.
to be able to date white or date outside of race. That's the part I struggle with. Trying to understand that. I don't know. How is it from a female perspective when you encounter them type of guys? What is that like? I'm always trying to find out the experiences. So what is that like when you encounter that type of black male? You know what I mean? What is
Mhm.
that like? What's that experience like? How does that affect you as a woman?
Um, so usually when I encounter that, at first the feeling is a little bit insulting because it's like, man, like what's wrong with black women? Like,
Mm.
but then it turns into, well, you're toxic anyway, so we don't want you over here. Because like there is clearly some level of like self-hate going on,
Mm.
and you know Black women, we have to stay clear of that.
Mm.
But one thing I will say is that like it can be frustrating because for Black women, our dating pool is very, very small. Um,
Mm.
like, with us being so loyal to our race, when it comes to dating, okay, so we're so loyal to our race, and here in the United States, a lot of Black men are either incarcerated or, not as educated, or, there's just a smaller and smaller pool of like eligible Black men to date.
Mm.
And I'm not saying all Black men are incarcerated or anything like
Okay.
that. I'm just saying like, because of the school to prison pipeline and all of the
Yep.
racism and stuff like that that took place, it has set Black men behind, whereas Black women, we are now further ahead of Black men. We're the most
Yep.
educated group in America.
Mm.
And we're the fastest, like one of the fastest growing segments in America right now is Black women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we've had to train ourselves to be so independent,
Mm.
so ambitious, and like so now we're out earning
The
Black
men.
men.
Yeah.
And so it creates this weird dynamic now where it's like there's so few of them that it's like, man, just the one that you see that could be an eligible prospect
Bachelor.
doesn't even want to date Black women, and it's so frustrating. And
Mm.
so I think that's where the frustration comes in, because it's like, man, there's so few out there, and then the ones that we do come in contact with are like not even on our team. And so
Mm.
yeah, that's how I feel about it. But then at the end of the day, I just gotta keep it pushing. You
Mm.
can't really dwell on that too much, because what God has for you is for you.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll find that person. But um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it feels.
You spoken some real things here as well, and I'm very much aware, especially, and this is not even just America, even in UK, we're seeing the outgrowth of Black women in terms of becoming successful. I'll put successful in brackets, meaning subjectively, but you know, the growth of Black women and their success, and obviously, like you said, part of it, like you said, the incarcerations, the I would even say the fact that there are some, I would say, some nefarious behind the scene things that
Hmm.
happen to kind of make sure Black men are taken out the game, right?
Hmm.
um so I totally understand your plight in the sense that the pool is small, and even working, for instance, I worked in wealth management, and there was myself, another Black dude, there was two Black dudes, right, and I think there was like three or four Black girls, but I could see that, okay, cool, so, and then when you go higher, you'll see Black women, but you don't see the men. And I was like, oh wow,
Hmm.
okay, so then it does become a very difficult scenario where you're a woman and you're looking at the situation, and then there is no Black guy in your circle, because I mean, if we're real, we pick within the kind of environments that we hang around in. So I can understand, you're looking at the environment, you're going, where are the Black men? Where are they?
Hmm.
Do they exist? I mean, and like I said, when you do find the unicorn doesn't even want to go your way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
can understand the difficulties between Black men and Black women. And it's so funny that we're talking about this, because these are the kind of conversations when I see them on a certain YouTube pages, yeah, it
Hmm.
gets left real quick.
Hmm.
Because there's hate from the men, there's hate from the women, and it just becomes an absolute spiraling. But this is a real problem that we do have now in our community, that we are seeing that Black women are out earning, out educating, and therefore there's a dwindling pool of Black men. Does that mean now that Black women may need to consider dating outside of their race?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, that so when you talk about other YouTube channels, I've
Mm.
seen that conversation being had across other YouTube channels. Now, I don't agree with the whole bashing of Black men. Like,
Mm.
no, like I can't stand that. I think it's toxic and dangerous and all that. But, you know, there are conversations of, they call it divesting, where we
Mm.
have to open up our options. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
be so loyal to dating black men. And the
Yep.
reality is that, yeah, because if you are the type of woman that wants to be married and have children as a black woman, I mean, the sheer numbers alone, there's 2 million less black men
Hmm.
in America than there
Damn.
are black women. So just by sheer numbers alone, you're not going to, there's not a one-to-one match, you know?
Mm.
And then of the black men that there are, half of them are not eligible. You know, I'm
Mm.
just I'm just
Mm.
saying, like, I could be wrong. Like, I'm just saying, like, of the black men that do exist, you have to cut that number down by, your preferences and, who's eligible to date and,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
This is
So
real.
it makes it even smaller. So it would make sense for black women to open up our prospects and start dating out. I've tried to do this unsuccessfully.
Mm.
I've tried to broaden my horizons and like try to date other types of men. But again, like it goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about that
Mm.
level of connection and ability to, you know, feel safe or like even
Mm.
just attraction. I can't help that I'm attracted to
I
black
hear you.
men.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't really help that.
Yep.
But at the same time, like I can't just wait around for black men.
Mm.
So it's just a weird place to be in.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, because I'm one of those, like, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a good job.
Come on now.
So and I'm not saying that to brag or nothing like that.
Girl,
I'm
don't
just
worry, man. You
saying,
can
like,
brag. Ain't
I'm
nothing wrong with that. Celebrate your successes, girl.
no, I'm just saying that because I'm speaking from a perspective of someone who does feel the scarcity in the
Mm.
dating world. So, and then, like, for me, he's got to be Christian, can't have
Come on now.
kids, and all of this. So
I hear
that
this.
that narrows it down even
Even
more.
more.
Um, but yeah, it's hard, and I do think black women, we should broaden our horizons, but also you still got to stay true to yourself, because if you're not attracted, you're just not attracted.
Attracted. Mm. This is
you
real,
know.
man. This is real.
So,
This is real. Damn, this is real stuff, man. Here, I've heard it before, but I think when you hear it in a more calmer fashion, when it's not back to back with men and man and women going back, it's much more. You just realize the plight that our sisters are kind of facing in that
mm,
respect as well. Okay, okay, that's real. That's real. I'm gonna let your Tunde come on as well. Stay on Maria as well.
okay.
Maybe she'll also give her point of view as a black woman as well, and we'll have a good conversation. Um, so Yetunde, talk
Hi,
to us. You've been hearing
hi,
us
I was just
background.
typing a message.
Oh my God,
Oh no,
you can say
it
it
was
now.
no, it was a response to what you guys were talking about. So
Flosis.
we can open up our horizons all we want, but they're not choosing us, and that is
Ooh.
what it is. So, um, I'm on I have been on several of the dating apps,
Mm.
and you swipe left. One day I was just like, I'm just gonna swipe right to everybody, attracted, not attracted, whoever it was. Like I wasn't even looking because I wanted to see who would respond back to me.
Mm.
And mostly it's the black men who responded back. And a lot of times the conversation was kind of like it was cut pretty short. Like it was not like
Mm.
short, but it was like very like light conversation. Hey, how you doing? Like it never goes anywhere. Um, they're just they're the average man is not putting in work to date a black woman
I hear you.
at all. And like if and the women, the black women who tend to fare better in this situation and climate are the ones like Adriana from Ready to Love,
Love.
the
Yeah.
ones who are willing to kind of put themselves out there and kind of
Mm.
like, hey, I'm here, hey, I'm
Mhm.
here. But the like, so open your horizons all you want. Say you want it, like I say all the time, I'm willing to date whatever, but whatever's not willing to date me. Even and
Mm.
like, there's been studies on this, like on these dating apps.
I heard about them. Yeah,
that like
closest.
black women are the least
Yeah,
likely to get picked, but
yeah.
also Asian men, right? So
Mm.
you would think, hey, be smart, let me pick Asian men. Nope, they're not even picking you. They're like, I'll stay alone. Go.
How am I supposed to ascend if I'm with you, girl? Come on, man, I gotta ascend. I'm just like,
Dang.
what?
Like they're
That's
like,
madness if he's
no,
thinking that.
no.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some of it, and I mean, I guess this is like is deep or whatever. And because I even had to like look at myself when it comes to this type of stuff.
Mm.
Um, there are some internal there. You know, we've lived in society for a long time, right? And there's
Mm.
some things that you start to become indoctrinated to that you don't even realize it. Like you look up and you're like, hey, like all of a sudden I have this preference that I didn't think I had, but I you know, I really do, or I can't see this particular thing as attractive because you know it's been drilled in my head that it's not
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah.
And like with a lot of us like dating nowadays on dating apps, like at least if we were meeting people in the real world, right, they would get to know your personality, you know, like people you work with or in clubs or whatever. It's like they get to know your personality and they see another layer of beauty in you. Whereas
Mm.
like, you know, dating virtually, they don't get to see that. It's just are you attractive to them? And you know, a lot of times when they're looking at your immediate skin color, it's just not attractive to them.
Mm. And you know, you're making some real good points here, and I think so. When I think I said it earlier on, when we talk about the word attraction, it you take the word evoke from it, and so if we have been conditioned to not find black women attractive, you can't evoke that from them. So our society, the way it's been built, the Western world, let's say, has been built in such a way where we don't evoke those feelings towards black women, right? So the other races are not seeing black women at all because they've been taught that finding black women attractive is not the way to go, right? If we look at history and look at how even colorism plays a part in it, look at even how black women the history in terms of how they were dealt with by, you know, the white man, if you want to call it that as such. I'm saying that for the purpose of the show, guys. Okay, so if anybody's white, don't take offense. But in terms of you know, if you look at the history, when I researched it, I realized they actively targeted black women, over sexualized them, hypersexualized them, and then specifically made sure that when white men were dealing with black women, it was rape, it was non-consensual behavior, and it was like if you went with a black woman, you'd be shunned. And they specifically made it that way. So, and if we look at the beauty standards, it's not Asians who top it; it's white people. They're the ones who are currently, if we're talking about Western world, who hold power. So they've set a standard for what beauty is. And when I was researching femininity, one of the issues that happened was that one of the issues that was happening in, especially within our colonial times, if you're talking American time, UK, whatever, one of the things that they actually started to do was that the white woman was a standard of femininity, right? But she didn't do it for them sexually. So she was soft, she was natured, she was, you know, that one that you want to marry, da, da, da. But man's balls are not getting hard like that. So then they made the black woman the hypersexual being, right? So this is why, and obviously the rape stuff was obviously to do with how they wanted to power as well, but a lot of it is because they hypersexualized black women. They actually started taking the body parts of black women and putting them on show to hypersexualize the men. Now, if you look at this, if you look at our history, how colorism even comes into play and everything like that, you'll realize these guys have calculatedly done. It's so evil if you want to think about it. So someone thinks about these steps and moves they make to make sure that black men and black women are going to be separated. But not only that, we're going to make sure that the black woman is the bottom, because should the black man find the black woman attractive, they build stable families. What happens when you build stable families? Rebellion happens. Because when now they've got stable families, these guys start talking, start getting together. You know, they want the brokenness. And I'm not trying to say this as someone, as a Christian. I'm telling you, as a Christian, this is the world we live in. The Bible says that the god of this world is Satan. Read it yourself, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4. So the world is evil. You understand, right?
Mhm.
So now we've got a whole situation in the last few hundred years where there has been a conscious effort to make sure the woman is and remember I told you about how that little bit of information where I said about white women are easy versus black women. Now, if I in a few years got that information and made me feel like white women are the sexual beings and the black women are the ones I marry, think about the programming that's happened to us from the very birth of what they do to what they make us think about black women. That's the exact
Mhm.
same thing. So now what happens is black women are not desired because it is conditioned in us not to evoke any feelings towards them. So now they're the bottom. That's why Asian man won't even look that way. It's not because he's a bad person. It's because he's been conditioned to not look that way. So,
Mm.
you know what I mean? So this is all history. This is a deliberate attempt. And until we start, and I'm telling you, it's going to change very soon. Maybe it might not be our lifetime, but when the power starts shifting to Africa, you will start to see the trends of beauty will start to change.
Mhm.
Because whoever's in power decides what is beautiful. So as we're starting to, and that's why now you start to see our music is starting to blend now. We're seeing American artists with African artists. As that starts to happen, that also the standards of what beauty is also begin to shift. The standard of femininity begins to shift. What is sexy begins to shift. In fact, we've seen it already. Look at the shapes that Kim Kardashian wants to be in. What shape is she wanting
Mhm.
to be in? Right?
Black
They didn't
woman
even like that
shape.
before. That man said big bum is nasty. That man said that big lips are nasty.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, now the media is celebrating Kim Kardashian when she has braids, when she has big bum, when she has a thick waist. Why people didn't even like this? They didn't like their girl sticky thin. But suddenly, this is being celebrated, right? But it's also nefarious even in that because this is where we have black men and white men saying that it's comfortable to date Kim Kardashian because she's neither black and she's neither white. So she mixes both sexualization and the femininity. Perfect choice. This is why Kim Kardashian is celebrated. Not because she's the baddest chick around. She is the epiphany of their mental attitude that they have bred into us. Black women are sexual beings, and that's all they can ever be to us. And white women are the femininity. So now you got Kim Kardashian who does black things, black body, black shape, everything like that. I'm saying stereotypically,
Mhm. Mhm.
but she isn't black, so she's perfect. So white people can date her because she isn't black, and that doesn't draw any attention from the rest of the world to say to you, "Why are you dating a black woman?" And black men can date her because it's a status symbol. It's high. It's not white, but it's almost there, but it's small. It's coming towards black people too. This is why JLo is
Mhm.
celebrated. It's not because they're the baddest chicks around. It's because they represent the epiphany of these two ideas. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's scary and it's sad, but I'm telling you, it will begin to change once the power begins to shift. I don't know how long it's gonna take, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
Well,
yeah,
we
talk
all
to me.
know that empires rise and fall. So um eventually the power will shift, but it was interesting like when you were talking about all of the different layers and things that they've done to like ensure that the black family is not intact, and
Mm,
it's so diabolical. Like, how did they calculate all of that? And the way they moved and went about doing it was so like undercover,
mm.
like it's not until 100 years later that we're realizing like, wow, y'all really tore down the black family by
Y'all
by
really did
doing
that?
right, like by doing all this little stuff. And it just happened so like they were on one accord when they did it. So it's crazy. Um, but yeah, I think it was also by design, to have it be to where like, black men are emasculated and, they're not, you know, really accepted by black women at a certain age. And then,
Mm,
you know, it's all about the fact that they don't want us to reproduce.
mm,
Um, but then you also said something interesting about like the standards of beauty.
mm,
I feel like, you know, I really feel like black women are like probably the most beautiful.
mm-hmm,
Um, just like in general. And I feel like they know that. And that's why they have tried to make, the white standards or the white features like be what they are. And then they like appropriated our features. So they took our features because they saw the beauty in it and they wanted to claim it for their own so that we weren't seen as beautiful and less desirable. So I feel like they know it. They just are trying to mask it and, steal it for themselves.
No, that's real, and I think, and that's the biggest thing is, obviously, remember as well, as empires have obviously shifted and changed, like you said, you have to almost tear down the ideals. So in order to have your empire exist, you have to tear down the original ideals. So now that whole concept of the black woman being the most beautiful goes real quick. You got to cancel that. We've got to cancel that because the new empire's coming in. When a new empire comes in, we've got to make sure that they cannot have any level of power. Because should the black woman be, you see, when I talk about God, I always imagine that when God created man and woman, he said male and female, I've made them in my image. Yeah, which means that when you look at man, when you look at woman, they both have intrinsic ideas of who God is, if we were to talk about a physical concept, right? So the woman loves and adores the attention and the worship. The man is the lawgiver, the law keeper. He's meant to rule, but meant to rule in love, right? So when you look at the woman likes this worship. If you destroy the black woman image, then people can't worship. And I'm not saying that in the sense that they should worship black women or anything like that, but I'm just trying to give an idea that once you destroy that image, the desire for the black woman, like we're saying, that goes back to the whole family situation, right? Because and someone put it here, asked a question about white women desiring black men. What I didn't add in the history of slavery is that just as they, sorry, Tunde, Mike's just going off with it. I'll let Ajin say it. Just as in what happened was this: when they had white women, remember at the same time, white women are women. When you see your husbands raping a black woman, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter whether you're doing it for power, whether you're doing it for the boss down the road. You're raping another woman, and she's seeing you having sex with another woman. She's not looking at it as rape. She's looking at it as you having sex with another woman. Then what happens? Your desire now shifts. Your desire shifts for who? The mandingo. Because now, just as you're trying to play me, remember the white woman thinks she's equal to the white man. Because that's the empire they built. That white is supreme. So she's looking at just as that white man is now raping the black woman and tearing families apart. She also, remember, is being kept in the house. This is the only place she doesn't go out to the field. The black woman and the black man are in the field, okay? And the white woman's in the house. But now your husband goes out and rapes and fetishizes the black woman. If he hates black women so much, why is he able to rape them? That's in her head. She's not looking at rape. She's looking at the fact you sexed a black woman. You said you hate them. So what happens? The retaliation happens. And then the fetishing also happens of the black male. Do you understand? So now we've got a whole scenario of the white woman now desiring a black male at that period of time. I'm not saying every white woman, please. If you're a white woman and you date black, fantastic. I'm saying in that period of time, what was happening was, and then white women were now looking at black men as that fruit on that tree that you shouldn't eat. You understand? It now became a power play. It now became something they can use to make. Women are very smart. They know how to manipulate. You know what I'm saying? Like now, if they can use the black male, to hurt the white male. Oh, I know you'll be pissed. I know you'll be pissed do you know what I mean? So now you start, and there were genuine love. People did genuinely fall in love. I'm not saying that they didn't fall in love, but I'm saying there was a lot of those things that were happening that were cruel. For instance, if we look at the history, do you know that white women were intentionally getting pregnant by their spouse at the same time a black woman will get pregnant with their husband or their man on the field? Because what they wanted to do was like, you can't look after your child, you're going to look after mine. They were also part of this nonsense. So just as spiteful as the white man was, so was a white woman, right? So if she thinks she's equal to him and she feels she's getting played, what does she do? She has to play him back. So the black male got used as a pawn. I'm not saying this in every single case, guys. I want to just make that very, very clear before they cancel my YouTube. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of perspective as to why now, when you look at their history and now look at how white women can now fetishize black men, they also see them as sexual beings. They don't, not every white one, but they also look at black men as the sexual mandingo. This is why the questions come out. Is his dick big? Is his
Yeah.
dick long? You know, I heard black men can go for long. Why do they get excited about that? Because they're also fetishizing us. Exact same way. They believe them as a sexual being. So the history is never favorable for either, but it's worse for black women just because of the fact that they tore the black man by emasculating him, raping him as well, making sure he couldn't stay with the black woman. And unfortunately, that has travailed down into now, where the black man now looks at the black woman and there's something called genetic trauma, which is that the cells remember trauma through generations. So now when a black man sees the black woman, what does he see? You're gonna get me into trouble. I have to hate you so that I can stay alive. He's been programmed the whole entire time he lives his life. This is what he's thinking. So a lot of men, unfortunately, stick to this program and they hate black women. Do you understand? I'm not giving them a pass. I'm only saying what happens. They don't get a pass. You don't get a pass for the fact that it's programming. You didn't stop the programming. You don't get any pass for that. But I'm just trying to explain in that genetic trauma that causes that thing, because it's very, if you look this, and this is why God made women, I believe, so powerfully, because somehow, some way, even with the trauma we faced, it will be black women that even in the face of a policeman about to shoot a black man, she will jump in front of him. Ask the black men how many would jump in front of a woman. Many of them wouldn't do it. You understand? So there's a lot that's going on there. Do you know what I'm saying? Let me get your Tunde in there. Sorry, Maria. I'm gonna get your Tunde. Your Tunde was gonna say something. Sorry, apologies.
It's a lot. I have several conversations back.
Go for it.
That whole thing, like with the Kim Kardashian thing, she's idealized for black people. She's black light. I don't hear of white men necessarily looking for the Kim Kardashian. It's not even just her. It's the Kim. It's the Iggy. It's the
That's true.
Larsa Pippen. Like, you know, if the ones who their women take on black features, it has to be light. It has to be soft. So you get some lips, a little bit of extra butt, but you can't go to the Kim Kardashian extreme and still appeal to white men. Also, when it, like, I guess on the other end of the coin, when it comes to like white women dating black men, they typically, so a lot of times when they date up, basically, so they date a black man who's slightly up, so they'll date a black man, you know, who's making more money, that's up. If they're, you know, like a sloppy, like, you know, overweight, sloppy type of white woman, they'll date a black man who's not sloppy. Typically, they're never gonna, it's rare that they look for a black man on their same level. It's always a level up. And a lot of times with the black men, and when they're dating white women, they're always dating a level down. So it's not like they're automatically into, it's not like their default is to go towards the white women. It's not like their default is to go towards black men, but they see them as an option because it's like you get something better than what you could afford. Like in your normal culture, you can't afford this. Now, a lot of sometimes, let me not say a lot of times, because sometimes when it comes to black women, and I guess this is in all aspects, we wind up having to date down in general. So it doesn't matter what type of who you date, black, white, doesn't matter. You always wind up having to date a step down. It's not all the time. It's not 100%, but it does happen a lot. And I know it feels like the black men tend to resent that. So like there was a story. Oh my God, I can't remember. He was a football player. It was a football player, and like he was an African football player. I can't remember which African country he was from, but I know it wasn't Nigeria.
I know who you're talking about. Eboe.
Was that like where he married the white lady?
And then like she rinsed him.
And then when he was messed up, he went back home.
That's Eboe. Like, yeah.
like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like she was the girlfriend before, and she was sitting on ice waiting for him to come back. Like
Yeah.
basically, he had to be depleted and almost back to factory settings before he returned to her. And I know spiritually, as a black
Mm.
woman in America, it is wearing
Mm.
because you have, like, we all grow up with this dream for our life. We grow up with, like, what we want. And you know just knowing the dream may probably won't happen. It won't look the
Mm.
way you want it to look. And that's the life we're living.
Yeah, and the change. I guess the change happens when the guard changes. I mean, because we're talking about a society where it's patriarchal. We've always been patriarchal in some sense or whatever, with men at the top of the hill, if you want to call it that. I'm talking about a very loose definition of patriarchy, but it's always been men at the hilt. But at the moment, it's white men at the hilt. When the guard changes to black men at the hilt, this reverses. But unfortunately, the society we're in, white men are at the hilt. So until black men decide, I guess until black men stop making, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of black men that make excuses as to why they can't do something. I know there's a lot of factors that play into our lack of growth, but there is a lot as well at the same time where, because they want quick, fast money without really working at it, they find themselves doing stuff that gets them into trouble. You know what I mean? And then you become part of the statistic. So yeah, sis, I mean, I hear you on this. I hear you on this. I hear you on this. Serena, you wanted to say something, so let me get Serena on as well. Serena, talk to us. Sorry, I've muted you again. Go for it. Talk to us about your viewpoint, please. Go for it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate
No
it.
worries,
I
sis.
enjoy your content. I just discovered your content about
Appreciate it.
less than a month ago, so you're a gem to this section of YouTube. So, Yetunde and the other person just
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
such valid points about dating and the history that you've given about, the black women and the black man versus the white man and the white woman. Such gems. I think when I look at my own life and when I look at dating, um, I have so many, I feel like personally, I have so many odds. Now that I'm listening to this conversation, I'm like, I might have odds stacked against me right now. Right? I'm a single mom and I'm past the age of 35 and
Mm.
I have an accent. I live in the States. Um, I'm in graduate school, so I'm a late bloomer, right? I'm also a late bloomer. But I'm very attracted to black men, and
Come
maybe
on now.
I try to hold a sacred space for a black man in my life, right?
Mm.
Just envisioning and imagining, having a very thriving relationship with another black man. I really try to force myself to say, let me open my horizons and see if I can be open to dating outside of my race. One,
Mm-hmm.
as I think Yetunde had said, the prospects aren't there. There's nobody reacting to me in that sense,
Mm.
right? Outside of a black man. And whenever it is a black man, usually it's an African man that will be attracted to me. But
Mm.
even in that, the our intellect don't match.
Mm.
I'm I
I
would
hear you
say
on
it.
this.
There's education there, right? I'm educated and I continuously educate myself. But then I find the African man, and it's not to say that this is not to show that he's uneducated, but they want a very domesticated woman. They want an African woman, in terms of what they left back in the continent. One
Mm.
who's going to be okay with staying at home
Oh yeah, I get
and
you.
cooking and cleaning, and it
Mm-hmm.
always comes up. The first question is, can you cook?
Aish.
Right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's that very traditional African man, and they mean it. Can you cook? I think the last get together I had with some African friends, Zambian friends, because there I go, I gave away my country. Um,
Love it. Don't worry.
and so this single one of the single men there said, "Oh, I think," telling his friend, "I think she's attractive." He put
Mm.
his plate down and said, "But the question is, can she cook?" And they both looked at me, "Can you cook?" And I was like,
Mm.
wow, so I'm going to be judged by that standard. Can I cook? Am I domesticated enough?
Can you
And
cook?
so you asking me that? you know,
Am
I
I
think
naughty, naughty? No, carry on. I'm joking.
you
Carry on.
see, in the years prior to doing some self work and all of that, I would defend that I can, right? But now it's like it's not something I want to do anymore. You either just gravitate towards me naturally and you see the gems in me, or you allow the things that society would say are dings against me to keep you away, and that's perfectly okay. I'm learning to just navigate that space of really resting within myself and
Wow.
being fine with exactly where I'm at, knowing that if a relationship happens, great, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. You know what I mean? So then how can I then still find the vibrancy of life, you know right now? Obviously, it's not easy to do, it's nuanced. And, there are days where there's a push and pull. But more and more, I'm becoming unapologetic about, my stance, the combination of who I am, my past experiences, and the things I thrive for in in my future. But always, the black man, the African man, will always have a sacred space in my heart, even though perhaps it's not mutual to to another African black man. So, but it's okay, even though it's really not. But it's all right to just sit in that reality, right? And then what I discovered too from someone like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie was to really accelerate my own identity as an African woman. To really see the beauty in myself, right? She mirrored that beauty back to me, and I'm like, wait, the way we are, the head rags we wear, the gems we put on our arms that are both tribal and both tribal, and they invoke like maybe prosperity and things of that nature. We come to these foreign countries not really speaking, coming with accents. It's okay because it shows I come from a different world or a different part of the world, and I have other lived experiences. So just really celebrating those things that we know that black women are not necessarily celebrated, were put down, but just really standing in that space and saying, I'm going to really celebrate myself with or without a man. I'm going to celebrate myself. So that's,
I
just
love that.
really walking in that reality,
I
you
love
know.
that. I appreciate you sharing that, Serena. Thank you. Appreciate it. Stay on there. Stay
Absolutely.
on there. I'm not. I'm just gonna mute you, but stay on there. Yutunde's gonna reply. Yutunde, talk to me, baby. What you
So
saying?
I'm Serena, you and I are very similar in that over 35, parents of children. So I feel you. I feel everything you say, but there was the one thing you were saying about like the men wanting you to know how to cook. And I agree with you. At one point I was trying to prove I can cook, I can clean, I can do it all. But it's like they want you to cook and clean and do it all, and then they want you to go to work, and they want you to not be after their money, and they want you to take care of the kids. So ultimately you're doing everything, and
Yeah.
they're doing nothing but just existing in your
Yeah.
space. So they're not even, they're not even, what is it, you're splitting the bills 50-50.
You know I love that.
um huh.
Uh-huh.
Terrible. You're splitting that, and which honestly I don't have a
I'm
problem
joking.
with
I'm
a
joking.
50-50 bill split if like we're doing other things 50-50, but it's like you split the bills 50-50, and then
I
you
can
still
change the
have to
nappy, yo.
do, you wind up running yourself ragged. I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I can change the nappy, yo. You don't know. I don't play with the Weetabix for little babies out here. Trust me, yo.
Oh, like
I'm joking.
produce some more of you. So like grow some you of you and start talking to your uncles, all your uncle, uh, all the older ones in your family. Tell them, show them the way. But essentially, that is what it is. Like we wind up, especially in America. Like I don't want to compare it to like UK. No, and I'm sure even in a lot in the African countries too, because I have like a lot of let me not say African, but I have a lot of conversations with like Nigerian women in Nigeria right now, and it's the same complaint. It's like they don't want you coming after them for money, but then they don't want to assist in anything. So basically, in this day and age, as women, we wind up losing, like, we fought for the freedom to go to work, and okay, we can go to work, but then it's like we still have to do all the stuff we were doing before and still go to work.
Mm. What, talk to me about this. I guess I'm going to dive into it real quick because I always hear this, and it's not even actually the 50-50. It's what I hear after the 50-50 that men are not doing anything. Like, I think that's what really kind of, I guess that's what really kind of, makes it really mad for you women as well. I mean, talk to me about this thing, that's that extra part there, because 50-50, I know it makes people go mad, but you said something which I keep hearing after. They don't do anything. What do you mean they don't do anything? Like these guys, I'm confused. What's going on?
So it's you're paying bills 50-50, right? But you have
Yeah.
to come home from work after working the same
Mm,
type of shift they work and sometimes longer.
mm,
And then you have to clean and you have to cook. And if you're like, oh, let's order out, then it's like, oh, she doesn't cook. It becomes a complaint of
mm.
you don't cook. So, the like I in this day and age, like I get the men don't necessarily make that much more money than the average woman makes now. So I understand, like, you guys coming as a collective financially, I'll take that. um but if I'm doing that, you have to understand that. And like, it's hard to live a life living off of 50-50, right?
I
Because
hear you.
if you're like, oh, we're going to pay the bills 50-50, we're going to clean the house 50-50, we're going to cook 50-50, everybody's like, then it becomes a point where you're like, oh, wait, I cooked one more meal than you and you didn't do this.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's like you start counting. You're like counting. You're
Mm,
like, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So that becomes difficult. But
I get
ultimately, like,
that.
we can't, like, it's black women are or black women are not super women. We just don't have the ability to do it all. We cannot work these long shifts like men are also working and do everything at home.
Mm,
Like, it's
agree this.
and I guess this will go like a little deeper than this conversation is, like,
No, no, go
during
for it.
this pandemic, I have seen so many posts of black women who had considered suicide during this pandemic.
Mm,
And I'm like, what the
this is
heck
real.
is going on? Like, that's not something that like we typically do. But I honestly feel like it's because they feel the weight of the world on them. It's like everything is heavy. And then of course, we have Black Lives Matter, and then, like, black women have to support that. And it's just, it's heavy. It's a lot. And it's just not possible for us to do it all. Like, everybody's saying now, oh, listen to black women. That's fine, but like, we need help too. Like, don't just listen to us. Help us out at home,
Mm.
especially.
Wow. Okay. No, no, I get this then. Okay. No, this makes a lot of sense. I was thinking to myself like, yo, I always have this. I always hear that rhetoric, but when you've explained it, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I personally don't understand how, if we're both working, how I could come home and sit down and watch you do everything around the house. Like, that doesn't, for me, it's just mad to hear that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe because of the way I think. Like, I just think to myself, like, why would I want you to be tired and out of it? Do you know what I'm saying? I guess because I like fairness in it. So I couldn't see myself, wanting you to, and cooking itself, yeah, let me tell you something. Cooking from scratch, because some of us have cooked before, yeah, okay, some of us have cooked because we were first child. Cooking from scratch takes energy. It takes energy. It takes energy to think about the meal. It takes energy to start preparing your vegetables, your main ingredients. Like, it takes time, and you can be in that kitchen for 2 3 hours if you're cooking a good decent meal for the, and as black folks we like to have leftovers. It can take you 2 3 hours. So imagine if you've come from home, if you've come from home and I'm expecting you to cook 5-star course meal and you work the same way I worked, I must be mad. Like, there's a level of madness in my head. Do you know what I mean? And I think the reason why this has been an issue for black people, especially, is because, especially for us, I mean, let me say it from a UK perspective at least. I don't even say UK. A lot of us, obviously, who have been like African backgrounds and stuff, we've seen our mum kind of do these kind of things, right? We've seen our super mum, right? We've seen super mum, yeah. And I think this is the issue we've seen. We've seen super mum who's trying to keep it all together in the kitchen with the children and in the marriage. And in fact, all the weight of things going right falls seemingly upon the woman. She's working, she's looking after the children, she's taking them to school, she's also cooking and cleaning, even helping you with church. Da, da, da. Do you know what I mean? All the mums seem to be going into super mum mode. And you can get a wrong idea. And let me be very frank with you. I think it's only the grace of God. I remember when I was probably about 7. Yeah. I used to watch my mum. I'm like, why does my mum do everything? Cooking, cleaning. I was just looking at my dad like, Dad, when are you gonna get involved, cuz? When, especially the fact that my dad can cook better than my mum. My dad is a lit cook. Listen, his food, yeah, different. Because he used to chef it up. And this guy, when he cleans, this guy can clean. Like, yo, it's not that he can't do it, You understand? But obviously there was times when my mum was at home and everything, so she didn't actually work and stuff at some points and stuff, right? Most of the time she didn't work. But I did see, I was like, Dad, why are you not like, and this is from a very young age. So for me, this was, I believe God just allowed me to see that and understand it. So I can't gas it up like, yo, I have a different mindset to a lot of people. But when I think about it and I break it down, I'm looking at it going, there are so many mums that are doing super jobs, and it's not good. This is not a positive. It is not a positive. You understand? Because when the woman is taking on that much level of stress whilst working, like you are working, you are asking her to die a very slow death. And then this passes on to the young men who don't know how to cook, you don't know how to wash your shirt, you don't know how to wash your pant. You understand? You've never lifted your finger on any domestics. You don't know how. You don't know how to live your life. You see them at university. For us in UK university, when you're 18 to 21, you see them at 18 to 21. They don't know how to do anything, and you look at them like, how super mum done everything. So now they're spoiled, and now when and now when they are dealing with women, they're expecting their mums in their partner. So when you're talking about that 50-50, that's what you're describing right now. You're describing the 50-50 where it's not 50-50 and where the man goes, I'm expecting my mum in you. I'm like, bro, how was it? I was a firstborn, and in Ghanaian culture, the children become the wives. We end up cooking, cleaning, doing chores. We end up doing everything. When I had my siblings, I changed nappies. I did the milk. When you have to do this. Make sure it's not hot blood. Listen, I did all of that. Listen, the nappy one's the worst thing. I looked after them. I had to stay with them during summer holidays. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing I couldn't do was breastfeed. You understand? But a lot of times we saw that a lot of males don't have this training. So now when they're encountering women, they're not even, they are little boys in this area. And because in the society that we live in, women are expected to pick up the slack, even if the girl didn't know how to do it, she'll probably find a way to know how to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's bad if a woman doesn't know how to do it. But if a man doesn't know how to do it, it's alright. You know what I'm saying? It's alright. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm saying, anybody out there is a parent, please, this is not the time to say, you're my son. My son shouldn't know how to. No, my son, come in the kitchen. Learn how to cook a meal. You understand? Yeah? Sometimes it burns your tongue. You're right. When you do the food, then you do the baby thing, it burns your tongue. You're like, whoa, that's too hot. So please let sure your sons are learning domestics. They should not be free of domestics. It should not be women doing domestics. You understand? It does not make sense in the world that we live in when women are working just like men. Let me get Fiona on to come and give her point of view. Thank you, Yatunde. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh crap. Yatunde. I'm sorry, but I'm saying Fiona, please go for it. Talk to us, sis.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, and I was going to say, Yatunde, she was saying that the UK is probably going to be better. I'm telling you, it's the ghetto everywhere. Everywhere. Because you have You have to food between the fraud boys, the shutters, the trappers,
Hey.
and now the new people. There's the forex dudes
Oh, the forex guys. Oh my god, those are traders that would say yeah, these trader stuff.
who come all in suits and in polo tops, and you think this is a legit guy. Meanwhile, you're selling stocks that don't exist and selling dreams. It's like no,
You ain't lying, sis. Carry on.
it's
I'm
just
listening.
it's just too much. And then they're wanting 50-50, but even you can't even. You're staying like in your bunk bed in your mom's house, and you're talking about my girl could never do this. My girl could never do that. Why are you asking for a bargain? You should be accepted and allowed just to go to Nando's or to McDonald's drive-through. It's like no, this is not. We need to have standards. Like, and if black women have standards, then it's like you're asking for too much. Meanwhile, you're taking other people to Shah to Hakkasan. Why
Oh
can't
my
I
god.
too want to go to Shah and Hakkasan?
I'm hearing you, Fiona. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Hakkasan is real stuff. It's real. It is a ghetto. It is a ghetto.
Like it's getting to a point whereby I'm thinking marriage is a scam because
Ooh.
no way
Okay.
am I doing what you think they said, going to work, coming back, having to cook, having to clean, sort out bath time, do school runs, make sure the house is tidy and everything, and you're just sitting there watching Arsenal lose like they do every time, and then you're in a mood.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, what suffering is this?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Hearing Arsenal
And
lose as
even when
well.
you ask for like, my friends even now say they want 80-20 in their relationship, which is the
80-20.
guy
Wow.
does 80, they do 20, which
Mm.
I personally think that's mad. Maybe
Mm.
70-30, 60-40,
Mm.
fair enough. Because realistically, when you're pregnant, you're out. And you're in maternity,
Mm.
you have to
That's true.
breastfeed and stuff. So realistically, that
I
one,
agree
like
that.
your husband can't breastfeed.
Yeah.
So someone needs to make up the money somehow.
I agree that. Yeah.
And what's men's aversion to having life skills? Cleaning is a life skill.
It's a life
Cooking
skill.
is a life skill.
It's a life skill. Mm-hmm.
What happens if your wife is like ill or goes somewhere? Are you gonna call your mom to come and look after your children?
Mm.
Or are you gonna take the grandparents to babysit? Or are you just gonna be a babysitter to your children? Like what
Mm.
happens if you don't know your child's allergies or intolerances and you take them to the hospital and the doctors ask you, are they allergic to this? Are they doing this? How are you gonna know if
That's
you're not
true.
being active and you're just there like that?
A lot of men are not. Yeah, there's a lot of men that are not active. This is a raw. This is a raw spit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing you. I'm
It's
hearing you.
just I think men need to do better other than this agenda of women need to be submissive, women nowadays are not cooking, women nowadays are not cleaning. Am I your wife? How are you asking for wifely duties when I'm still girlfriend? You need to pay that bride price. Where's the diary? You have not come and seen my village people. You have not come and negotiated with my dad and my uncles. Why should I be putting in extra effort when you have not even put in that effort?
Oh,
It's
Princess
crazy.
Bride.
One of my cousins got married and she was on this tip of her husband says he doesn't like leftover food. Every day it must be fresh food. So you want me to be coming back, making powdered yam from scratch, making all these soups
Mm-hmm.
and chefing it up when I've been to the hospital and I've done a shift as a nurse. I'm coming and doing all this house girl work. Meanwhile, you have come back from work 6 o'clock without fail. You're at home because you work 9 to 5, or you work flexi time, whereby if you start at 8 o'clock, you can finish at 4.
Mm.
So you've left the house, calm, relax, taken off your shoes, and now you're just gonna sit there and wait for me to come and start cooking food.
Mm. Mm.
So do better.
I hear you. I hear you, sis. That was a whole word. My girl said, "Do better." Man, them out there, do better. You understand? Man, them out there, do better. Nah, I appreciate that, sis. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing, Fiona. Thank you. Thank you.
Meanwhile,
Appreciate it.
you just did all, they still want you to do all that, but they're not doing the old school duty. So if you say you want to order food out, that becomes a
That's true.
problem, right? But
Mm.
they're not changing your tire, they're not fixing your car, they're not cutting the grass, they're not taking out the trash. All those jobs, if they're getting done, they outsource. And you got to do
Mm.
all that. All those things aren't, I mean, oh Lord.
And that's
I'm
money, right?
Yeah.
That's money, isn't it? Outsourcing, that's money. Who gonna pay for that?
I mean, if it's a two-person household, like I don't have a problem with outsourcing the things you don't want to do. Like if
Mm.
you don't, I mean, that's money's a tool. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have two incomes coming together, if there's like a chore that you guys absolutely hate and nobody wants to do, then why not? If you don't want to cook, hey, pay for meal prep. If you don't
Mm.
want to clean, that's where your money goes. You're paying for
Cleaner.
the cleaning people. If
Yeah.
you don't want to wash your clothes, take it to the
Don't get
person who
lazy.
launders. Like outsource if you can't, it'll give you peace. Because
Mm.
if you can outsource that role, then you're not stressed about that thing.
I agree that. 100%. 100%. Mandem, I hope you're listening. You know, outsourcing if you can't do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Outsourcing. You know what I'm saying? You guys out here, you got the ladies stressed. You see, you're getting the ladies stressed. Now they are stressed because you want to treat them like supermom. And I agree with you. Um, I think one of the major things here, is having that balance. I think that is one of the things that we haven't really worked out. I can only talk for the black community. I don't know about anybody else. But it's that balance. We seem to not have that balance, and there's a lot of babied men, and unfortunately that creates a huge imbalance. And so these guys are not equipped domestically to handle a lot of these things. So it's not even that they don't even want to do it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it, baby. And so I think a lot of these guys, they're still babies, and it's unfortunate, because then you ladies encounter them, and then hearts are breaking. You get me, and marriages are long, and you're having to do everything. So, ladies, let me also say this to you: choose better. Okay, so don't invite these boys that are asking you to cook. You know what I'm saying, and won't dish up no doll. You know what I'm saying? Stop going for them. Okay, I don't care how good
True.
looking he is. Stop going for
Yeah.
him. Go on, Serena, talk to me.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Like, don't go for such men. Like, that's, in general, a rule I had to, like, really enforce for myself. Like, why am I stressing myself? Why am I really going for the low hanging fruit?
Mm,
I'm not being seen past the cooking, the cleaner, and the nurturer, and the one who even provides the sex or
mm,
the comfort, all of those things. Like that's just that's the identity you see me as. You don't see me past that. You don't see my
mm.
intellect. You don't really connect with me emotionally and stuff. It's because you're looking for a mom in me. You're looking for someone to do those domestic duties,
I
you
agree.
know? And so, like, really divesting from such people who are men who are only looking for a mother figure, the cooking, cleaning, childbearing, and child raising woman, right? Like, hey, we are more than that. But especially where I come from, the part of Africa where I come from, it's ingrained in us though, right? Growing up, it's really
Mm,
ingrained in us. Like it's as if the only way that you really truly be a woman is if you can cook, clean, raise children, and even
mm,
dress modestly, right? You can't show too much bum. You can't show too much. Back then there was no such thing as cleavage,
mm,
all those different things, and sad we're even indoctrinated into like this is how you do certain things. So as an adult woman having to unlearn those things, saying that that's not the all encompassing identity of me, just being a cook, someone who cleans, and someone who gives birth to children and raises them, and dresses modestly, and is submissive and soft-hearted to a husband, because those things are not me. I'm a
mm.
spitfire. I talk. I love intelligent conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I want to order out, and
Come on now.
let's take an adventure, and yes, let's
Come
get
on
a
now.
cleaning lady to come clean the house, you know but to the African man, what is this? What have you done now?
Yep.
Like you've diverted far from what my mother taught me a woman is, type thing in their eyes. And so it's heartbreaking, right? Because it's
Mm,
a narrative I have to let go of, because it's been my identity for so long. And I think maybe many African women have that same identity still, and even asking for permission to be from a man, even if it's just a boyfriend, asking for permission to be. Like a friend of mine is saying, there's a guy who's low-key harassing her, but she won't leave him alone because she's asking for permission for him to leave her first. Can you just
Mm-hmm.
go and we don't have to talk? And I told her, I said, but you're giving him all your power. If you're not interested in this, you can end it. You
Mm-hmm.
can say bye and not respond to any more calls. You realize you have the power. So even small things like that, right? We've been conditioned to say it's so admirable to wait for a man to tell you what to do, how to be, to give you permissions to do this and to do that. But having to unlearn that as a grown person is almost, it's sad to say that it's heartbreaking. Like, wow, I can't believe that I really upheld that as a sacred standard. But now that I'm coming into myself at a later age in life, I'm like, fuck that. Sorry, maybe
That's all right.
don't
Go on
cuss.
for it.
Like, I'm just gonna be the wild card I was always meant to be, and really chart my own course and path, carve out my own path in life, and just move in that direction because it feels good and it's right for my soul and it's less stressful. I don't have to be this dogmatic woman that's, trying to be something she's not, the cooker, the cleaner, the child bearer, the blah, 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 because I'm just trying to please this man and try to keep a household together. That's not me. I need to breathe and I need to be, and I need to have someone that's going to dream a bigger dream with me, past just the domestication of the mummy wife. So that's my two
I
cents.
love that. I love that. You know what? I love that and I appreciate that. Thank you, Serena. I think obviously these again, everything is about. So I'm seeing some comments in the comment section. I want to just if your man has got it like that, then you will not have to do these things, isn't it? It's a blessing, isn't it, to have a man that has money to the hills. But most of the men ain't got the money to the hills, so you're
True.
gonna have to. We have to find a way to work together. This is the key thing. Different partnerships work in different ways, guys. Yeah, if your man has got it like that, one thing that I'm trying to get people to understand, both men and women, is that you have to take your relationship based upon the greater skills of each individual person. Do you know what I mean? If your man makes 300, 400K, whatever, 100K, well, it makes enough money to make sure you don't have to work. Fantastic. Live your life. Get the au pair or the nanny or whatever you want to get, bruv, and get all those people involved in it. Fantastic. Yeah. If that's your life, go for it. If you do not have this lifestyle and you do not have this financial expenditure as in dispensable income to be able to do that, then let's also work together. Yeah. And that work together is for both men and women. If you're a man and you can see somewhere where you can help, help. It's not a man thing or a woman thing. It's a we thing. Because should this car break down, it doesn't matter whether I was driving, whether you're driving, we broke down. Do you understand? So the relationship, you have to look at it almost like the car. If it breaks down, nobody goes anywhere and we're both walking, isn't it? Yeah, that means both our feet gonna be hurting. So rather, what we're looking to do is, what are the best skills within the relationship? What are the essential skills within a relationship? How do we make sure that if we don't have enough finances to be able to do the crazy stuff, how can we still partner together to get stuff done? I don't understand, like I said, how I can be in a house and my wife is doing everything and I'm doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even make sense. I don't want to, that's not even making a happy woman. You know what I mean? And we're in a new generation. So let me make a very claim for you guys. We're in a new generation, Mandem. Mandem, if you're watching this, we are in a new generation. What does that mean? It means this. If you don't do your part, these women will leave. It's not your mum. Your mum decided to stay, but they will leave. And you're a divorcee once, a divorcee twice, a divorcee three times until you get it into your head. Do you understand? Like, you have to understand, we're in a new generation. Women are not going to stick it out with you just for the sake of sticking it out. Let me be very frank with you. Okay, a lot of them, they do not have to do it anymore. So all that, when you were thinking, when in the past of our generations before, where our aunties were sticking it out because they didn't want shame to come on the family, the ladies don't care no more. They don't care no more. So listen, if you don't do your part, you will be divorcee. You'll be married and divorced. Once, twice, three, and going. You understand? So we need to learn this before we get into that point. You know what I'm saying? That as a team, what are our best skills? Like when I was with my missus, listen, I don't mind washing dishes. I hate a dirty kitchen. So the kitchen area is my specialty. Like if she cooks, I will make sure I'm gonna take the dishes. I'm gonna clean it. Make sure the kitchen's all crispy. I like clean as you go. She doesn't like doing. She didn't like clean as you go. I like clean as you go. So I would be there and I would wash up the dishes because I just don't. I like to see clean as you go. Right. The bathroom. She's amazing at the bathroom. I'm not as good as the bathroom. I don't know what it is. My bathroom skills of cleaning are not that great. She was amazing at it. So I said, you know what? When we get married, which didn't happen because we're no longer together, just putting it out there for any single ladies out there who want to take on a man like me. But obviously, so we were going to sort it out like, hey, look, I will take on the kitchen, you will take on the bathroom. Okay, look, I like cleaning this part of the hair of the house, you like doing that. Okay, cool. Because it's just, I don't want the person to be burdened. When you're burdened, you look at me as the annoying person, you start hating me. Listen, I don't want to end up on, 700 ways that a woman can kill a husband. I don't want to end up on that show. I do not want to be that person. You feel me? So I want to make sure that you're good. And I want to make sure that you're in your best possible situation that I can potentially make for you. If that means you don't work and I can earn enough money that you don't have to work and you can do whatever you need to do, fantastic. At the moment, I'm not just there yet. I think we're getting there. You know what I'm saying? We're almost in double digits every month, but we're not there yet. And, we want you to, when we get there, we'll let you know, innit? But we're not there yet. So therefore, there has to be a sharing of these particular ideals. So I think, Mandem, please, I'm saying this to you. Don't let the ladies be burdened with domestics. You understand? Otherwise, the other D word comes in, divorce, and I don't want to see that for our generation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the cleaning that gets the issue. It's the fact that it leads to other things, frustration in other areas, etc., etc. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, ladies, do you have any more points? Any more points you guys wanted to talk about? Any more points you wanted to add? Oh, sorry, I didn't add somebody. Yeah. Any more topics you want to add? Any more?
I think like as Black people, specifically like I would say African people and African men, we need to go through a process of unlearning things.
Oh, okay.
Like how can you move from Africa and come to the UK and expect everything to be the way you were doing it in Africa? How does that make sense? Like you're facing very different challenges.
That's true.
And both of you may have to work. And let's not lie to each other. When you go to Ghana or when I go back to Uganda, I never touch a dish or do anything. In fact, when I was growing up, there was a time where we had 2 house girls, a shamba boy,
come on,
a gate man,
come on,
and a nanny who used to take care of me and my sister. In that point, my mom didn't have to do anything. All she had to do was look after my dad's businesses as he traveled and just have enjoyment. You're not having that same lifestyle in the UK, so why do you expect your wife to act accordingly as you were in Africa?
That's
like
true.
You should
that's true.
Adjust.
That is very, very true. Very, very true. House girl, house boy. I even forgot about that. You're right. Back at home. I'm saying, guys, get yourself a house boy, house girl. Just make sure they're not as good looking as Joseph in the Bible, or you will have problems. I do not want to see you guys divorced because someone decided to sleep with the nanny. You know, the upa. You know what I'm saying? We don't want the upe and the upa to disgrace you and your family name. Do you understand? So make sure they're ugly and make sure they're old. Okay, just saying, just being real. No, I'm being real. You listen, because you don't want it. You don't. No, you don't. You don't know. You see, you guys don't know pain until you start to see that it's your nanny that's the one that's got your man. No, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that, bruv. You don't want to see that. So, yeah, choose a, make sure it's 75, 80 onwards, you know what I'm saying? And just make sure that, you pay their pension well, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because in UK, these people are trash, you know what I'm saying? But no, Ross, but you're absolutely right, sis. I agree with you. I agree with you. Back home, we have house help and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's also another consideration, guys. You know what I'm saying? If you've got it like that again, if you've got that kind of money again to have house help, guys, get the house help. Shout out to, I see Sapphire64. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, man. She says, I appreciate you facilitating a healthy space for Black people to discuss and heal. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Love. We want to have some healthy conversations. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're absolutely right. Fiona said we have to unlearn some things. Can't come from Can't come from the Africas and come here and expect it to be the exact same thing. It's about adaptation. You know, we got to adapt to our surroundings. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? We've got to appreciate it. Neff, shout you out as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Shout out for that little contribution as well. You know what I mean? We appreciate you. We appreciate you. B Light says no woman coming around bending over picking up nothing in my home. No. And listen, this is a real no. Okay, I've been joking and bantering about this au pair stuff, yeah, but I'm being deadly serious, y'all. Listen, it's a serious thing, you know. Like, I know it's probably the Spanish movies I've been watching, you know, some of these Spanish shows out here, they know how to do romance. The UK is dead when it comes to romance. America's you're okay. But the Spanish people, they know how to make romance. Oh my gosh. They know how to make things romantic. So listen, when it comes to the house helping thing, yeah, let me be very frank with you. You know, you hear it all the time. This guy is doing the nanny, and it's just like, yo, like why? Like why? You know what I'm saying? She's here to help us, not to be one of your and when you watch Nollywood, it gets worse. The Nollywood will scare you out of any house help at all. Nollywood, if you don't know, guys, Nollywood is the Nigerian Hollywood. Okay, that's why they put the N in front of it, because you know how we gotta be, right? And let me tell you something, yeah. Nollywood will scare you out of having house help, yeah, because it always be the innocent house help who doesn't want anything to do with the man. She's not even interested. She's not even looking at his loins, and before he knows it, he's abusing his power, and before you know it, he's kissing up on this girl, trying to make her feel some way, and before you know it, she's pregnant, and glory to God. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, it will scare you out of having any house help. You know what I'm saying? Or your cousin or someone's daughter coming over to stay with you. It's always, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, you just got to be careful, guys. Don't choose no Joseph looking people, because the Bible says he was very handsome. Why are we choosing handsome help? No, can we be real? No, let's be real. Jokes aside. We need to stop choosing handsome help. Stop choosing buff help, beautiful help. Make sure they are unattractive to y'all. I'm just saying, okay? I know some of you are gonna say self-control. I don't want self-control. Why you put me in a box and put me in a house with another beautiful woman besides you? It doesn't make sense. Bring the grandma. Bring the uncle. You know what I'm saying? Bring one of those. You know what I'm saying? Man. But we're not going to keep ourselves accountable. You're absolutely right. And that's how I'm keeping myself accountable. But make sure they don't enter the house. You understand? Keep them far away. You feel me? Yeah? We don't want to God be the glory, the ending of my film of my life. You understand? You feel me? But yeah, I mean, again, back onto that conversation, everybody should be cooking and cleaning. Everybody should learn this skill from a very young age. Everybody should be able to do these domestics so that we can ease the burden on one another, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't know about you guys. If you grew up in a household where you were the oldest child and you had to do the chores, yeah, it will change your life about how you view your partner. You don't want that kind of stress in your life. When you listen, Saturday morning was the most stressful day ever. Saturday morning, because we used to have, like, every day is a cleaning day, innit? But it's like light cleaning because it's during the course of the week, yeah? But Saturday is spring clean day. And let me tell you something. It will change you. You should if you've had the kind of upbringing I've had, you should never look at a woman as the sole proprietor of domestic chores. Because when it's been done to you, it's painful. You get up, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you're up. The first thing that gets going, you have to either do the kitchen or the living room or the bedroom. Something is going to get clean. And I mean deep cleaning. We're not talking about, the weekday clean. We're not talking about your mum cleaning. We're talking about your deep cleaning. You understand? Where you go into the crevices in the corners of your room. You understand? And you scrub. You understand? The windowsill, nothing can be. You take everything off and you scrub. You understand? Yeah. You have to move everything. You see your bed that you had your shoes underneath. Move the bed and move the shoes and begin to hoover underneath to the deepest end. Now someone might say, "Why are you not doing it every day?" I'll tell you why not every day. Because it's long. Yeah, don't ask questions. Let me continue my story. You're moving the bed, you're scraping the carpet, moving stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are doing, fam. Let me tell you something. You guys have not when you scrub to the point your hands become. The bubbles on your hands become on. You don't know. You don't know. When your hands become wrinkly and then you get the bubbles on the top of your hand, you don't know about stress, bruv. You don't know about stress when it comes to the cleaning domestics, bruv. And you're cleaning, and you see, and when your dad or your mom comes and says, "Hey, that you've missed a part and you're stressed because you're like, I didn't miss a part, but they're like, you don't want you to do it again. You understand? Listen, I'm telling you, it's real. So this is what I'm saying. I wouldn't want that kind of pressure on my partner. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want all of that deep sea. Listen, have you ever cleaned the fridge? No. Listen. You guys don't know. In fact, the fridge is even light. The oven. Oh my God. The oven is the worst cleaning you can do. And I know you should be doing this every week. I'm going to be honest with you. You should clean the oven every week. Let's be honest. It saves you hurt and pain. All right? But let's keep it true and let's keep it real. We don't. So when I don't do it, yeah, and I look at the oven, now the oven itself requires you to Mr. Finish or Mr. Vanish, spray up, and you got to leave that to set for at least an hour or two to let because otherwise your scrubbing will be in vain, right? So listen, if you're listening, I hope you guys are paying attention. If you've never done chores before, you need to listen to this because it's going to help you. The oven, you need to spray that up. Leave that for an hour or two. Let the Mr. Vanish and the Mr. Refresher or whatever they are called to do it, okay? Let it break the molecules down, okay? Then you should be... Listen. I take a tissue first because you need to... the outer edges have got the oil in, so you have to remove the oil. So tissue it up first, yeah? And then I do the little deep spray with the Mr. Finisher in there first and let that set again. You understand? Yeah? Then you have to think about the fact the glass on the plane. The glass is now the easiest part. The glass is even the easiest part because you spray that up and you can clean it. But you might have to leave that to set one or 2 hours as well. But depending on how deep it is right now. Yeah? All right, cool. Defrosting, yes, defrosting the freezer. Stress. In fact, I'll come on to that as well. And then the hard part is the grills. Oh my God, the grills, yeah, are disgusting. The grills are so like you ask this question: how does the grills part where I pull? How does it get dirty? Because the food is on a tray with foil on a tray thing. How is it that the grill itself that is on? How does that get dirty? And then you are singing. Look, do you know how hard? Do you know how hard it is when you have to take a scrubber, okay, and then you have to do each individual like the grill. When you take the thing out and you bro, and if it's not clean the way your parents want it. You don't want to stress. I want you to understand the pain that we've gone through. So I'm trying to let you see that this is not a one-man thing. You understand? It's not a one-man team thing. Now, our sister in the background also told me about the defrosting of the freezer. Listen, let me tell you something about defrosting the freezer. Listen, defrosting the freezer, yeah? The stress of that. I thought, in fact, I said oven was bad. Oven is even okay. Because when you're defrosting freezer, the water spillage... because you have to wait for that to defrost for a few hours. It's not a one-time thing. You see, these things, it's not a washing a plate situation, you know. Like I'm telling you, it's not a one-time washing plate thing. This is a series of events over hours. So you may even have to go and sit down, relax for 20 minutes or so, an hour or so, and come back to it. That's what adds the tension to you. You know, that's what comes to the tension to you, that when you go and sit down and you remember, oh my God, I have to go back there. And you get the flashback and you have to go back there because you've left it for an hour or two because you have to let it settle. You guys don't, you see, this, you will never want your partner to experience all of this. You said, oh, see, next time about Oven Pride, it comes with a bag that you can soak the oven rails and get off the grease, wash it. Is it? I didn't even know that. I'm gonna get that now. Oven Pride. Okay. Yeah, I need to, I have to get that. Yeah. I have to get that. No, but this is real. No, this is real stuff. Like, so imagine that's the kitchen I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the kitchen. You know what I mean? That's a madness. Yeah. Then the living room, you have to move the sofa, get behind the sofa. Okay, hoover the floor. The hoovering is easy. No one complains. The dusting. Listen, dusting is a 2-step process. Okay, because if there's any dust, you need to get a dry cloth first and cleanse first. Then you can begin to spray. You can't just spray on the dirt. That's gonna make it mad for you. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make it mad for you. You must use dry cloth first. Cleanse the areas that are dusty first. Then you can spray your components on, which is maybe wood or whether it's the glass. You don't just spray. It's not a quick job. You understand? Not only that, if you've got windows, which everybody's got windows. I hope everyone's got windows in your house. You understand? The windows, listen, you have to be, listen, that's why I get stressed when them white guys that come to your window and come and do I've learnt that. I already know your job. So if you're not good at your job, I'm gonna see it. Because that was we were doing that without the little we didn't even have the we didn't have that, fam. This was we're doing wax on, wax off on the window, blood. So if you weren't good at it, blood, your window's gonna look messy. You can't leave streaks. I'm being real. See what I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about. You understand? These are the things you need to learn how to do. Otherwise, when you get to your house, when your wife is looking at you, you look at her too. Well, I mean, I've never done it before. You know what I'm saying? I've never done it before. Like, what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? So, these, it's just stuff. I see some people put some comments there. Rag and newspaper vinegar. Yeah. You're right. I hear you, sis. I hear you. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real stuff right now. You understand? Your bedroom. Listen. Let me tell you something about life. When the washing is done, laundry. Some of you guys don't know. See, because some of you just come and dump your stuff in the laundry and you walk away, isn't it? Some of you dump your stuff in the laundry and you walk away. You've never ironed before, so you don't know the pain. When you listen, and you can make that. See, the ironing can be sweet to a point, and I say to a point. The only point that makes ironing sweet is when you're sitting in front of a TV. You understand? That's the only time it can be sweet, when you're sitting in front of a TV. But let me be very real with you. When you look at the basket, and you look at the extent of the basket, and you just see that clothes are overflowing, I'm being very real with you. You will start to see that, wow, I didn't even know I had that much clothes. Someone said hand. Yeah, so so I also know how to hand wash. My dad taught me that. How to, look at my hand movements. Look at that. Listen. Oi. If you've ever hand washed a shirt, there's so much stress. Listen, when you hand wash a shirt, guys, ladies and gentlemen, hand washing a shirt, okay? Hand washing a shirt. You see, it was at the point that when I washed a shirt, I really worshipped my wash machine. Okay? Because when you get the let me describe what happens here. You get a bucket, okay? You fill it up with warm water. Some of us at the time, when you were living in the council estate, you have to go and kettle the water first, then put it into the bucket, then add cold water to it, because sometimes the hot water will be off. Then you you know what I'm saying? Then you add some of your soap into it, okay? Or sometimes, you wouldn't even add soap to it, sorry. You put your soap on the side, okay? Then you put a little bit of soap on listen, the collar is the deadest thing. On the collar. This is when you start asking questions. Why do I sweat so much? Why is it my neck is that dirty? Why is it that the white is brown here? Why? Okay, and then and then you would get the shirt, you pull it into the water, okay? You add a little bit of soap in it, and then you shoo. And listen, the first few seconds, you thinking that you're good. Blood, it's not that your shoulders are even hurting. Not yet. It's the knuckles against a knuckle abrasion. Listen, if you've done your job well, you will have skin coming off. If you've done your job well, skin will start coming off in some place. If you've washed the shirt proper, some skin will come off. Yeah? Because you've and you do that, and you realize 10, 15 minutes, for those of us as well, especially if if you like, especially if you like British born, maybe some of us weren't that great at it. You know what I mean? So it took us longer. It took us much longer to do it because your mum will be out here going shh 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 shh. 5 minutes, the shirt's done. You're there for 15. Shh, because you're also thinking about the pain. Shh shh. And then after 5 minutes, you have to go like, oh, my hand, man, it's hurting, man. Like, really, this is what it is. My hand's hurting. You have to give yourself some time to break. Then you go again. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you know about come and tell your stories. Listen, we're up. We're already up in it. We're already up. Come and tell me your stories. If you've suffered this stuff, the cleaning stuff, come and tell us a story. Go on, Fiona.
I am dying.
Talk to me. Tell us some stories, man. Domestic chores and that. Talk to me.
Now, whenever we used to misbehave, my dad used to punish us. We were not allowed to use washing machine.
Hey!
So if you misbehaved, especially PE, you know how PE was in school?
Yep.
You had to come, you had to soak the clothes fast in the bathtub to marinate and get rid of all those. Then you have to go, get your Ariel, dump it there, and then start your hand washing. Then you have to rinse it out, dry it, and ironing. Our parents made that iron everything, even underwear, jeans, bed sheets, pillowcases.
Bed sheets. Oh. Bed sheets
Duvet
be the worst.
cover.
You don't even know where to start.
And then if you wore trousers, you had to have a line in your school trousers. You have to iron in that weird line.
There's that weird line. Yeah, the weird line.
And I wore a pleated school skirt. So I had to make sure all the pleats were in line and everything for the whole week. Because what is halfway through the week going, Mom, I can't find my skirt. What do you mean you can't find your skirt? I bought you all your school uniform. You should know where your school uniform is. So Sunday night, collect all your uniforms, collect everything. And make sure everything is patterned. Doesn't want a phone call from school. So-and-so has forgotten their PE kit. They had to get from lost property.
My oh my.
Yep.
Fiona. Serena, you had the same experience? Talk to us, man.
Listen, I'm triggered by the hand washing conversation. My goodness. Even though growing up we had maids and garden boys, but I don't know why our parents insisted on making us hand wash clothes. However, when I moved to the States, though, there was a period of time when I didn't have a washing machine, a washing dryer, so that skill came in handy. And then taught it for maybe like 2 or 3 years. Taught it to my son as well. But going back to my experiences growing up in my native country, oh my goodness, my mom was a nurse, and so white uniform. And she's like, you can't have me out there looking. You can't embarrass me with my uniform not white, looking white. So figure out how to wash it. It was always her thing to us. Figure out how to make it white. Like, oh my gosh, she would look at it hanging on the hanger and be like, not white enough. She'll put it back in the water, wash it again. Like, oh my goodness, that was wow. Like, yeah, those were like tough lessons, but I'm glad I sort of went through it. I mean, sometimes it would actually like bribe the maids,
to do for you.
Please, I'll give you whatever money if you could wash my clothes this weekend. But then you tell her, do it on the low. Don't let them know that you're washing my clothes. Mix them in with mom's clothes, dad's clothes, whatever. So that they don't know that you're doing it. But of course, sometimes we'd get caught and have to do it. But we always did the bulk of our laundry we did ourselves. Even though we had the maids and stuff. My mom insisted we do it. My dad insisted we do it, even though they were living in 2 separate homes. But my God, those were some of the hardest times. Washing windows. My mom was a fanatic about her windows being clean. And you're right, with my mom, it was a weekly thing of the whole... We used newspaper and water is what we used. And you have to wash on the inside, and you have to go outside and clean the outside as well, the windows. And the window seals, oh my God, I remember even waking up okay, let me tell you this one. Oh my God, this one still haunts me to this day. When it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I hyperventilate because I'm thinking I'm back in Africa. 6 in the morning, have you ever swept the yard outside using a traditional...
With that little brush. the traditional
Yes.
the thistles that I
The
don't know what they're
traditional one.
called.
Oh my goodness. So my mom lived in a small town where it was embarrassing for young girls not to be up and haven't had cleaned their yard before 6 a.m.
Oh,
But me
Jesus.
being from living with my dad and then seeing my mom from time to time, I didn't really know the skill of sweeping. So it would take me from 6 to 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. So people are walking by like, "You're still sweeping the outside?" And my mom's like, "You're not going to embarrass me. I don't care if you have to wake up at 4 in the morning and get this done. You're going to get it done before 6:30 at least."
Damn.
But those were like hard time. The wind sometimes comes and I'll stand there crying, like the wind is
Yep.
working against me. She's like, "Then sweep, I sweep with the wind. Wherever the wind goes, sweep with the wind." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So having to learn even things like that. And then ah yeah. No. There's no way. I can't do that in my adult life though.
Yo, it's real. What you're talking about is real, man. It's that kind of stuff. We laugh now, obviously, because
Yeah.
obviously, you're older and stuff in it. But at the time, you did cry tears. There were times where you know, when when you cry, and the cry is deep within, that
Yes.
your chest goes up and down, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
almost you're almost hyperventilating kind of cry because you're
Yes.
frustrated that you're in this position. It's like the
Yes.
world is unfair. You know what I mean? So I hear what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Fiona, you wanted to add something?
Nah, this is PTSD. Because I remember, because when I was a child, because I grew up in Uganda, like I was born in Uganda, and I came to the UK when I was 14.
Mm,
So I was misbehaving, and I got sent from my international school to a traditional boarding school in Africa.
mm,
So now it meant waking up at 4 a.m. to go and fetch water to come back
mm.
so that you can bathe in this cold ass freezing water.
Sis, I can't even run with you on this one. I don't even feel that pain because I've never had it. Sis, continue.
Going on hand and nails with that hand brush that you use for the trainers
Mm.
to scrub the floor,
Hey,
piece by
trauma.
piece, having to line up to use the ironing.
Mm,
No,
mm,
that's PTSD. But it's character building because now when I came to the UK, anytime you misbehave, they'll send you back. They'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna send you back to school very quickly. You learned." That's not my
mm,
life for me.
mm,
It's not
mm,
my portion. And
mm,
everyone was so rude as well for no reason at all.
I'm listening.
Because when
Mm-hmm.
they find out that your parents like took you to an international school or whatever,
Mm,
and then they think, "Oh, you have money and you think you're better than us," so it's the bullying. And then you're all suffering together. So why are you bullying me? Like we're all here, we're all in suffering, we're all having to do the washing of the white collar. We're all having to have the corporal punishment where they make you kneel down for hours, put your hands up and balance books on you
mm.
because you're misbehaving. It was too much. But it's good life skills because now like I really appreciate having a washing machine. I can tell
Yeah,
you
trust
that.
me. Trust
I
me.
can tell you that.
Trust
And I
me.
appreciate all the stuff my parents did for me because, if I had to do that daily, every day, no, I wouldn't be able to survive. I wouldn't be able to survive.
I hear that. I hear that, sis. You right. I hear that. You hear that. Yeah, man. I hear that, man. I mean, to be honest, like I said, to be honest, listen. These. We'll talk about our experiences and we joke and everything, but this is real, like because, like I said, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you see how difficult it is doing this on your own. Like, in terms of really keeping a household together, it takes a crew of people to do this, blood. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe I just need to I'm venting my frustrations and my PTSDs. Okay, guys, let me vent it a little bit. You as a kid, after your mum has cooked a brilliant dish, cooked lovely food, yeah, everybody's relaxing, but it'll be you that now has to go to the kitchen. Look at all the dishes in the sink, okay, and the dishes ain't the problem. It's the fat pans that are waiting for you. You don't know stress until you see the huge silver pan, round, sitting there, looking at you, waiting to be cleaned. You see the kind of cry that you have to cry. Look, when you know the kind of things that your parents did, like just as you're about to go out, this is when they decide to say, have you done this? When you're about to leave the house, go with your friends. You even pre-told them you will be going the house, leaving at a certain time. And it is this time they've decided to intervene and tell you, have you done this? You haven't felt pain like that, guys. You know, when you get done hard by in domestic chores, until you've done this to your parents and you've gone behind the scenes and you said F off mum and dad, but you said it quietly because you don't want them to hear, because if they hear F off mum and dad, you will be F'd off. You'll be out of the house. Until you felt like until you've had, see, that's why I say a lot of us have got great self-control, because we know that you got so angry at one point, you went there and you did, the meme of Arthur, hey, what a wonderful time. That meme where he's holding his fist like this, that meme is the meme. That is what you do when you're having to do something that is so painful. That is, you're holding your fist like this and you're saying words that are not to be uttered to your parents. That is when you know there's stress in life. That's when you know at that age you're feeling, in bad. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Fiona dropped a nice one there. She said, obviously, it's not even the pans, it's the food containers that never end oil. She's not lying. Hey, the food containers, yeah. Listen, food containers did it. Why is it, and who has not made a good food container up until this point, where when you wash it with fairy liquid, it doesn't get worse? Because you are there for an extra 2-3 minutes having to clean the food container. You understand? Yeah, because the oil's in there from the jollof rice, or the oil's in there from the soup that's in there, or the oil's in there from the one auntie that brought it from the last party, from bringing it back to you, not washed it. There is always some issue with the food container. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, yeah, I used to really hate dishes. And the reason why is because when the sink gets dirty and then the water's kind of filling up a little bit and you have to put your hand into the dirty water and you're not sure what you're about to feel. Now, when I'm older, I'm good. Yeah, I'm actually calm with it. But when I was younger, having to put my bare hand into it, when you put your hand into the dirty water and you're not sure what you're about to encounter, that used to just shake me, blood. You understand? That used to finish me. Honestly, that used to finish me. Man, I used to be stressed, man. I used to be so stressed with all these chores, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying to you guys. Be kind to your partners. Be kind to your partners. It shouldn't be. If she cooks, you wash the dishes. You understand? Yeah, if she cooks, wash the dishes. If she's come home late from work and the kids are there, you take the kids and wash them up tonight. You know what I'm saying? If you've got free time in the morning, that next morning, and she usually takes the kids to school, it's okay. This time you take them to school. Don't take the extra 5-10 minutes that you could rest in. You take them to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men don't understand the stresses, and I'm saying that because as a man, when I've been domesticated, I see the stresses. You know what I mean? Like walking your brother to school every morning, but my mum used to do it. And you see, blood, you lose an hour in the day waking up early, getting us dressed, making sure, or if the children are capable of doing it, make sure they've dressed correctly, because sometimes the tie is not straight. Sometimes the shirt that you're wearing, you've worn the wrong shirt. Sometimes, the shoes on the left foot, not the right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's effort and energy that goes into these kids, bruv, if you've got kids. Yeah, so nobody should be leaving the kids solely to the woman if she's working like you are. Learn how to be flexible. I'm saying this so that you can pass this on to some men, in your lives. They should see this and understand it. Domestic chores are not a joke, bruv. Yes, Serena, you're right. Men don't understand until they've been through it. Listen, look, when I had my little siblings, when I was gifted with them, okay, the little siblings, and I had to look after them. Listen, That's what I told you about the whole baby formula stuff. Yeah. When you see, you guys, some of you have been spoilt so bad. Some of you are watching, those of us who are commenting, we know what we're talking about. When you've had to look after your little siblings, yeah, and you have to feed them, and I'm talking about little, I'm not talking about when they're little toddlers. I'm talking about babies now. Yeah. When they are little babies, listen, you have to get, the little formula, the SMA. We in UK, we have an SMA in it, SMA. So SMA. The SMA is that baby powder milk thing, yeah? The baby's going off on a one and it's crying, and mama will look at me like, Kojo, go and get the milk. I'm like, Mom, like, I'm busy playing Nintendo right now, you understand? Don't argue with me, get the milk. So, all right, cool, got to go to the kitchen now. Got to boil the kettle. Yeah, you boil the kettle. All right, cool. Then you got you get the SMA milk out. Yeah, you get the little ladle that's in there. You level the ladle. You understand? You have to level the ladle, blood. Then you took one into the little bottle that you have. Then you get a second one, and then you do again. You know what I'm saying? And if the baby's really hungry for milk, you might have a third one there. You know what I'm saying? And then you add the hot water to the SMA milk. But here's the thing. You can't add too much. If you add too much hot water, then there'll be no room to add cold water. You got to use your brain. Because otherwise, if it's too hot, you will be there for another 3-4 minutes for the water to cool down. So you have to add maybe 3-4 quarters of the bottle in. Then you add the colder water into there. Yeah, well, you add it gently. Listen to me. You add it gently. You don't add it harsh. Because you know what I mean? You add it gently, the cold water, little bit by little bit. You close it, shake it, put it, and then you have to go, you often do the tut, and you go, okay, what level is it at? Okay, maybe it needs a bit more cold water. Then you put more cold water, yeah. What level is it at? Okay, cool, this is ready to go. All right, cool, go. Now, that's the milk. Okay, that's the milk. And now you've forgotten. You haven't even forgotten. Listen, then you have to listen after, and this is after the baby's eaten, innit? You have to sterilize the bottle. Which obviously in those times then we had a sterilizer, so you can put it in a sterilizer thing, but you got to sterilize it. Listen, I'm remembering it like it was yesterday, Then so we have to sterilize the thing. All right, cool. If you have to do Weetabix, because as the child is getting a bit old, the Weetabix now. Weetabix is a madness, because you got to crush that thing into the bottle, and the bottleneck is not big enough to crush the water bits in. So now you got to take it, and the maddest thing is you're going to make a mess. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're about to make the mess. I wish I had sense. If I had sensibility, I would have put the bottle on a plate and then just quickly crushed it and put it into the bottle. Instead of here's me doing the bottle on the counter, and now I've got to clean the counter after. But wisdom, had it been there, would have said, put it on a plate, Kojo, and then when you finish, you just clear the plate into the bin, and then you wash it and be good. So here we had to do. We had to now put you have to crush the Weetabix into the bottle head, yeah? You have to crush it. Then you got to add the hot water. That will mix it around, yeah? You got to mix it. You normally had a little teaspoon that you could use it and do this shh like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little thing like that, yeah? And then obviously, that's without the milk. Sometimes you might even add one shot of SMA milk in there, just to add to make it, when you fill in, some way for the child, you add a little SMA milk into that, make sure that the thing goes correct, blood. And then you know what I'm saying, you mix it up in there and you give it to the child, right? So listen, I'm just trying to hope that someone's watching this and they're learning. Do you know what I mean? This stuff was not easy, This stuff is not easy. And I wasn't even looking after the child all the time. Let me tell you about changing nappies though. Whoo! Listen. Some of you weren't firstborns. Some of you weren't first freaking borns. So you don't know the pain that I'm talking about. Listen, changing nappies. Man, changing nappies. Listen, yeah? First of all, it's a smell. Secondly, it's the anticipation of what you're about to see. Okay? It's anticipation of what you're about to see. Okay? Now, when you get that baby onto the floor, first of all, you don't just put that baby straight on the floor. You put the little mat that you used to have, yeah? A little cushioned mat on there, yeah? Okay? Yeah, you put a little cushioned mat on there. Now, if you were good, you had some disposable tissues that you could put on there, like it's a large roll, and oftentimes, and you roll it onto the mat so that if any mess goes on it, you don't have to clean the mat as well. You understand? Right? Cool. But you don't always have that. So Hey ho. So now, obviously, you put the baby on there on its back, yeah, okay, right? You put the baby on its back there, okay, and then obviously, if it's huggies or whatever, you have to touch the sides and you have to. Now, at this point, you're not sure what you're gonna see. At this point, you're not 100% of what you're gonna see, because some days it's a little doo doo, some days it's a lot of wee wee. Okay, sometimes a lot of wee wee, and you thought it was doo doo, but it's just a little bit of doo doo, but more wee. All right. Then when that front compartment reveal and you pull it back, and you pull it back, at that point you must assess all situations. Okay. Now I've even missed a trick here. Before it got to that point, if you've not prepared yourself with the wipes, first of all, if you've not got yourself ready with a new nappy, if you've not got yourself the little powder we used to use as well, there was also a cream, because obviously when you're young, the child's young, there was a cream. It was like a grey bottle. In UK, it was a grey bottle. I can't remember what it's called. It was like a grey bottle. Okay. And obviously this is because you have to get yourself ready. You don't come there and remove the nappy and not have your ingredients ready to make sure your child is going to be better when you finish, because otherwise you leave that child alone for a few minutes and anything can happen. You just I mean you don't want to take any risks. You know what I'm saying? You're a young kid, you don't want to take no risks. So you prepare yourself. You make sure you got your nappy ready. You make sure you got your wipes ready. You make sure you got the powder, and you make sure you get pseudo cream. Yeah, Shola knows the pseudo cream. You get the pseudo cream, okay? So you have to make sure, All right, cool. So now you've revealed the compartment and you're looking at it. Now here's the thing: there are different levels of doo doo. I'm gonna be very clear with you. Let me be very clear. There are different levels of doo doo. Okay, some days you are okay because it's a little bit of doo doo, and there's some days where it's green. And you're looking at it like, how are you green? How are you so green? What did you eat? All you ate was Weetabix on SMA. So how are you so green? Yeah? You have to ask this question. You're confused. And the green one is deadly because it's everywhere. You know when you see, when you see that the doo-doo has touched all of the parts of the body, and you're like, oh, man. And you see it, you're like, but why? Because some days it's cool, it's just a little bit, it's central. Sometimes it's all over the shot. It's all over the gaff. Oh, man. It's all over the gaff. And that's deadly. So this here, people up the neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no, because these are deadly days. So now you've seen the doo-doo. Okay, and now obviously you see, because you see the wipes here, the way that it wipes, if you're not careful and the doo-doo, you're spreading it. There's a way you have to lift the legs. See, so you have to even hold first of all. So we used to hold the leg when we start, yeah, and then we wipe, like this. We wipe like this. You know what I'm saying? The wipe as we go. You wipe as it going. Wiping clean, innit? Then you have to also make sure as well, because you never know how doo-doo spillages in between the little, how babies are cute as well. They got the little rolls. You have to get in between the rolls. You have to get in between. Listen, do not forget the rolls, people, please. Don't forget the rolls. The little kids have got little rolls, and doo-doo can go into that crevice. You must lift little rolls and clean. And make sure, even if you don't see it, it could be there. So you clean the little rolls. You make sure the legs are absolutely clean. You understand? Yeah? Yeah? Make sure the child's absolutely clean. You understand? Clean it. Clean it. You understand? Yeah? Clean. All right, cool. So now you've done that, yeah? You've done the wash the thing from properly, yeah? Depending on what time of the day it is, please, guys, depending on what time it is, because sometimes there are days where you take the child to go and wash in the bath, and remember you used to have the little blue bath? Remember you used to have the little blue bath? You used to have a little blue bath with a little child in, yeah? The little blue bath we used to put the little child in it, yeah? Whoo, baby, that you have to wash that child in there, yeah? So it depends, because obviously you might have already done, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes, whew, my God. So obviously, depending on what time of the day it is, and depending on how many you've done already, you might not take the child straight to the blue bath. You might just do you might do the wash down with the wipes, etc., etc., etc. Then you need to, Oh baby. Then you got add, we add the little, I don't know what the cream, I don't even know what the powder was called. I can't remember what the powder was called. I can't remember what the powder was called. There was a powder you used to put on the child, the bottom of the child, because what you don't want is a rash to happen, or you don't want, you don't want a child to be itchy. You know what I mean? So you put on the powder as well, and then obviously then the pseudo-cream goes after as well. You make sure the child is, so there's a you know what I'm saying? Johnson's, that's it. Shola's on point. She's A1. Shola, see me after live. So you have to make sure these parts are done. You understand? I'm trying to remember, the cream came after it. The cream was last. I think the cream was last. The pseudo-cream was last. But the talc dusting powder, yes. The Johnson's and talc dusting pasta, that's what you have to add on. So now you've done all that, do you understand? But that is a stressful time, guys. Okay, it's a stressful time because it's when you do that, then you let a child, depending on how old the child is, the child might be crawling by that stage, whatever, walking and babbling by that stage or whatever, right? And that's another thing. When they get to the walking stage, no, in fact, the moment they know how to move, they are problematic. The moment these children know how to move, they're problematic. I don't know. And if you had your first children, come up in here and give me your opinions. You know what I'm saying? If you've looked after your siblings or your first children, come and tell us your experiences. When these children finally know how to move, they're the most dangerous thing ever. Yeah? Because 1 minute, when they learn how to crawl, it's long. 1 minute you are looking at the TV. Now you've seen them just 30 seconds ago, if not that. Yeah, not if not that. Someone said when they take off they take off the diaper, listen, we don't even want to express what that happens when they do that. That's when they're getting too brave. We'll talk about that as well. I like the fact you reminded me of that. Yeah, I'm reminding me of that. When they start crawling, it only takes 10 seconds to go, hey, wait, where have you gone? Where have you gone? And you find that baby in the weirdest places. And I mean weird. You see them, they might be, I don't know how they even get there. They might be in between sofas. They might be behind the sofa. They might be behind your TV. They might be in the drawer. Like, these kids end up in the most weirdest places, bro. And they're not crying. They're not doing anything. They're just there. And so you're asking, where are you? Where are you? You're thinking, so where have you gone to? Within a split amount of 10 seconds, if that, 10 seconds, if that, suddenly they're somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Someone said kitchen cupboard. Yeah, they love being somewhere they shouldn't necessarily be. Like, how are you even getting there? Why did you think that was even a good idea? Yeah. Now that's when they're crawling. When they're walking, this is the kind of stress I've never had in my life, yeah? Because when they're crawling, they don't start climbing yet. When they start walking and they start climbing, this is the worst thing I've started to see. Because it's cute. It's like, oh, they're walking. They're finally doing their walk. And as they fall, you've got to be there. So you can't take your eye off them for a second. Because if you take your eye off them, 1 minute they could be walking, the next face planted on the ground. So now, anytime you see them, you have to be vigilant. I'm telling you, you become anxious. Small little things, this little baby now will now start to get excited. So it will stand, when a little baby as well, yeah, wooden floor especially, yeah. this when the kid gets excited and it goes to stand by the sofa or something, or the chair, it will do its kicking its leg and it'll start getting excited. Yeah, and it will start kicking its leg. Yeah. Now you're looking at it like, oh, it's so cute, yeah. You can't take your eye off that child. Because the moment and it's as if they're waiting for you. No, these kids know what they're doing. No, I know it. I remember these moments. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to turn around and they're going to climb the chair. Now, the issue isn't the climbing of the chair. It's the fact if you fall. So now this child is now trying to climb this chair. It's trying to climb the chair. Okay. And get up into the chair. And suddenly, before you know it, that child has fallen it's fallen as it's tried to climb. And you've got to be there. Because if it falls badly, trouble. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when you've missed the opportunity and you've heard pum, And you know when babies cry, it's like there's a delay. So like there's a little delay, Now there's a little delay. So when they hit the ground, pam, there's a silence in the air that is deafening. Yeah, it's deafening. Yeah, and then you're gonna hear in about a millisecond or two, you're gonna hear, and the shrillness of it, because you're also remembering as well. You have to think to yourself, like, listen, you're thinking your parents are around the corner, and they're in their bedroom. They've told you to look after your sibling, and you can't get this wrong. You can't. You how you gonna explain that? How you gonna explain that? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna explain that? You're not gonna. You know what I'm saying? Shannon said, "You wait to see if they're gonna cry." Listen, serious things right now. This kid, when they start walking, someone said about the gate. Absolutely right. The gate, it doesn't work. They climb the gate. They climb the chair. And they think it's. And here's the thing. Now, little babies these little rascals. They think it's funny to start jumping. They think it's funny to start jumping. Oh, so you think this is funny? You think jumping from the chair to the ground when you don't have stability, when your legs can't take the shock waves, when your legs can't stand yet, you're not ready to jump yet, you think it's funny to do the jumping stuff. So now when you turn your back, you see that child will now come and do a jump. That child will now come and do a jump and hey, and when you catch the person, hey, you're laughing. This is not funny. I want to concentrate on my TV program. Let me watch Monica the Vampire. Let me watch my Power Rangers. You understand? In peace. Let me watch my TV shows, Keenan and Kel for free. Let me watch it in peace. You won't let me. Because every second I have to watch that when you're now trying to jump from the chair to the ground. I am sure that's where these kids, listen, these kids, they know you. And the thing is, they know you. They know you. They know you better than you know yourself, fam. Yeah? They know when you turn your neck, they gonna do it. They gonna do it. They gonna do it. They gonna do it. Yeah? And listen. Hey, it happens, man. I hear you. Yeah, I love this as well. When they try to move like a worm in your arm to escape. Listen. When you're saying to them, listen, I love that comment. When you say no, stop it. And this is when they start doing, at that point, they've learned no without saying no. These kids learn no early. They learn no early. They learn no early, but they don't know how to say it just yet. You see, it started early, yeah? They started early. Before you know it, yeah, then the kick out of the legs, and you're looking at the baby like, listen, brother, let me tell you something straight, innit? You understand? You're not going to break out of this, cuz. You're not going to break out of this. But you can keep trying, but you're not going to break out of it. I mean, that's how God loves you, isn't it? That's how Jesus loves you. I mean, you see when he just ran up message, that's how Jesus loves you. When you're kicking out and punching out, that's how Jesus is looking at you. You ain't going to break free. You haven't got the strength. You understand? And that's how you're looking at your sibling, isn't it? You're looking at a sibling like, listen, stop that. You understand? Yeah? Listen, I don't think... And when they start walking, they're also deadly because you could be doing something. It's like conconsat is built in them. They know stuff is wrong and it's like they want to test it. It's at this moment they're coming to slap you in the back of the head, slap you in the mouth, put their foot in your mouth, like they do all sorts of stuff to you and it's highly provocable. It's highly provocable, and they look, when you've been slapped in the face like when you don't know it's happening, like you be playing with the baby, and you're looking at it's me you're slapping. Me who's carried you. It's me who's looked after you. It's me who has done the Weetabix for you, and you're slapping me. Listen, these kids are ungrateful, blood. Honestly, man, and you can't get them back because it's a bit, you are much stronger in it at that young age. If you're a sensible child, you can't get back, but you want to. I should have said, yeah, self-control. You know what I'm saying? You want to get at them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And Shola said, I can never retaliate into my sisters now at 17. You're getting her back for those years, Shola, yeah? Shola's so annoying. You're getting her back for those years, bro. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. These kids, listen. These kids, no, listen. And you know, when they, as they're getting older, they're so cute as well. Obviously, they are. Listen, I must. I'm saying they're annoying, but they are beautiful. But you know when, you know, you could be there, and like he said, they'll be stepping on your face. They don't mind stepping on your nose. They do the weirdest. They do the weirdest things. They will grab your nose, put their finger into your nose, and they're looking for a response, like, and it's like as if they're trying to test you because they want to laugh. They're also ready to laugh at you. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, blood, why are you doing all these things? But the best thing is, look, let me be frank. You know when you carry them on, you know how you got them to sleep. Listen, I was a deadly. Listen, when you come to this, see the shoulder here? It's a deadly shoulder. When you touch the shoulder, it's a deadly shoulder because when you come to the shoulder, you will sleep. You understand? Yeah. I know when you get them here on the shoulder. Listen, night night, because you are going to sleep. Because once I put you on the shoulder, I'm just gonna rock you gently. You know what I'm saying? You know, you do the light pats. You know, you do the light pat on their back. You do the light pat. Fam, before you know it, they've belched on you. Forget sleep. They've belched on you. You got too comfortable. You know, you had a moment there. You look like you and your little sibling had a moment there. You and your child had a moment. And then, just when you think that they've settled, all down your back, in your neck. Sometimes you're even holding them here, like a Simba. And before you know it, these kids have no respect. None at all. Guys, I think I've got all the situations out of mind. I'm trying to think of any more situations that stress me out about these younger children, you know. Someone said they bite too. They definitely do bite. They bite. Listen, when they get their first... listen, and their bite is strong, you know. Listen, their bite is strong, you know. Oh, man. Listen, you know when you play around and they grab your finger and then they try to put it in their mouth and you're laughing, and they bite. No, better. Here's another thing. So, I remember I said this to the ex-missus and she was like, she's not doing it. You know when babies get the bogey stuck in the nose? I think you know what I'm going to talk about, innit? You know when it gets stuck in the nose? Yeah? And they can't really, you know what you need to do. Guys, you know what you need to do. When a baby has got the mucus in the nose, you know what you're going to need to do. Because it's not coming out by tissue. Yeah? This is the one. You have to almost suck it out of their nose. Yo. Nah. Listen, that suction. Yo, that suction, yeah. Man, you've never tasted salt before. You've never tasted salt before. That is the wettest salt I've ever tasted in my whole entire life. You understand? Sometimes it's gone so quick. It's already in the throat. You can't get that. It's gone. It's gone. You sucked it and it's gone into your, you know what I'm saying? It's gone into your throat already. Ain't nothing you can do. What are you gonna do? It's gone. What are you gonna do? It's gone. What are you gonna complain? It's gone. It's in your it's in your trachea. It's in your trachea. It's now tickling down into your trachea. Down, gone. Into your bronchotortis. What is it? Bronchotortis. The bronchus. It's gone. Yeah? It's finished. It's gone. You understand? So these are things we're doing for the child. You're doing things, you have to help that child. Potty training. I didn't even talk about potty training. I knew I forgot something. Potty training is the worst ever job you can get, but it's a blessing when they finally get it. But it is the most hardest job you're ever gonna get. Hardest job. Oh, esophagus. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Shola. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The potty training. Potty training is so difficult, man, because that kid. I don't even remember how I even started it. I don't even remember how I started it. But I actually my mum taught me once, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it from now on. I want to be able to do it. I don't know why did I open my big mouth to say I want to teach my bro how to do that? Do you know what I'm saying? The potty training. Listen, if you don't know this part of life, you thought that the doo-doo in the nappy was difficult until you see doo-doo outside of the nappy. Then you know what life really is. Doo-doo outside of the nappy is real. Okay? Doo-doo outside of the nappy is real. Okay? The doo-doo outside of the nappy is real. So now when you get this little child now, it's older now, yeah? Okay? You have to almost communicate with that child. Okay, you have to almost communicate with that child to, hey, let me know when you are ready to go. Okay, let me know when you're ready to go. Now, if you've worked with children, you already know they don't let you know in enough time. You have to look at certain indications. One, the most basis one is the legs that go, the legs go. You know what I mean? Their legs go. You know what I'm saying? And when their legs go like that, then you go, okay, they're ready to go, right? But sometimes you see the child who go, it will just start. The child will start moaning, and they won't say why they're moaning. Just say, they'll start moaning, and you're like, what? What's going on? And you have to kind of get the understanding, yeah, and then get them onto the potty. Blood. My potty was a little blue thing. Little blue potty thing, you sit on it and you do in it. You understand? Blood, it was the worst, blood. Because you have to wash that out. Oh my god. Blood. Listen, so you have to pick up these signs: grunting, complaining. If you're blessed, you get the child that says, I need to go to the toilet, I need to go to the thingy, and then you say, okay, you need to go to the toilet, and you put them on the seat. But the thing is, the trouble is these kids, they don't know how to control their bowels. So when you're walking them towards the thing, they can already crap their pants. They can already do on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, listen. When you start finding doo-doo around the house, you know. Yeah, you know. Okay. So you see, this is all training that you have to do. Like, so that child could already have doo-dooed on the floor before you knew it. You understand? And then the worst thing is they'll go on and play on like it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. You have doo-doo on the floor. We need to know. Yeah. So you get them onto that potty, man. And what and then hopefully, like I said, once you get them trained, it's a blessing. You see them going towards the toilet by themselves. They're doing their bit. They get it done, and you feel a sense of achievement, when you train that child in the ways to go and they not depart from it. You know what I mean? When you train them in the ways to go and they not depart from it. You know what I'm saying? When the young men, the glory is their strength, and they walk to the toilet by themselves. You know what I'm saying? You appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And that is the blessing in disguise when you do all this hard work for them. When they get to the point where they can do it for themselves, you see how amazing it is, and you rejoice. But I don't envy anybody going to have the children. Listen, blood, I don't envy you lot, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't envy you lot. I don't. The only thing I didn't have to do was only thing I didn't have to do was wake up at nighttime. I didn't have to do that. That was the only thing I didn't have to do. You know what I mean? Like that was the only thing. So I didn't have to wake up at night in the middle of the night to see what was going on with them. So I actually avoided that part. But everything else, pretty much, I did it, man. I did it. Guys, I think I've stressed enough today. I think I've stressed enough. And I know some of you even got work in the morning and I've kept you up till 7 in the morning. Some of you are UK, you know. Honestly, I appreciate you lot, man. Someone said, worse is the pissing competition that boys have destroying the bathroom floor. Oh. Cleaning that floor. Clean out the potty as well. Oh, my God. You gotta touch doo-doo, man. You're gonna touch doo-doo, man. And if you don't touch it, it's in the sink. You gotta touch doo-doo, man. You're gonna touch it. Sorry, it's in the sink. It's in the toilet. But you're gonna touch doo-doo, man. Gotta clean it out, man. Understand? So, yeah, man. Guys. Make sure you work together, guys, okay? Children are hard, okay? Yes. So, Rich, yes, I've got it all out now. But please, ladies and gentlemen, work with your partners. Do not let them alone. Look how long I've taken, an hour and a bit to tell you how hard it is to look after children. And you think that your wife should be the only one doing it, you know? So, guys, please, yeah, look after your partners. Help them out. Be good parents. Teach your boys, how to, to look after and look after themselves domestic. You know what I mean? It's not a one parent job. Amen. It's not. And end it on that. So guys, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna leave you. Thank you for coming out strong. We had 100 people left to the night. You lot were gonna go all night. So we appreciate you guys. And maybe, in a few weeks' time we'll have another one of these live, yeah? Some real stuff, We'll have some real stuff. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like another Bants night, do you know what I'm saying? Where we can just joke and catch 2 jokes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's been good. Watch out, you know what I'm saying? We got some more lives coming out during the course of the week. I can't remember what it is. The Cook Together, yes. I'm gonna get Jess on it because Jess needs to do the cook for us. Jess says she's gonna do the cook stuff for us. So so who's that? The trauma. I hear you, sis. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? Shola rose at 4:30 every morning. Is that you, yeah? Is that you, Shola, yeah? You're just ready, innit? Yeah, he's ready, innit? All right. Omari said, be nice to Caleb. I will. Don't worry, man. I'll treat him good. Guys, make sure you stay locked, stay loaded. I appreciate it. It's been fun, man. We need to share more stories like this, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll have one of those topics. If you guys send me topic discussions or whatever, we'll have more of those things where we can just have jokes and banter it out. Do you know what I mean? Talk about our history and talk about what we've experienced as childs and stuff like that. One day we'll talk about the beatings that we received. Yeah, that'll be a real conversation. The beatings we received. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You understand? Guys, stay locked, stay loaded. Make sure you have a good night and a good morning for many of you. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. It was fun.